Faint lights in the distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to EON League. How you guys doing? It's me. I actually haven't casted for this league in quite a minute, but I am now making a return. Unfortunately, we don't have a second caster at the moment. We're having some technical difficulties that we are currently navigating as far as that goes. But before we get into the teams and what we've got for you today, let's take a little look at what we've got going on for this new season of EON League. Right now, we're currently in the Season 2 Open Qualifiers, which is going to dictate the top two go to Division 2, and then the rest will be sorting for Division 3. This league will have three divisions. Division 1, invite only. Division 2, invite only, or top two from the Open Qualifiers, or Division 3, which is those who are playing in the Open Qualifiers, which is exactly what we're watching right now. These are going to be single elimination round-based points. So there's going to be 3 rounds of qualifiers, and the teams with the most points are going to be the ones that we'll be seeing moving forward. With that being said, we do have one team already ready for you, all players in the lobby, and that is going to be Adept Club versus Ex Mortis Talents. Now, since we do have a fresh new season, we don't have a lot of information as far as these teams' performances quite yet. But what I can tell you, starting off with Adept Club, we have Munchid, Kusta, Zet, Damien, Winstrol, Kirby, Dinny, and Mika as their roster with a total win rate, or with their... wait, we haven't played anything yet. Or never mind, we actually have played the maps. I'm sorry. This is from the previous season. I didn't realize that. Their best maps on Consulate, or is going to be Consulate, with their worst going to be Border with a total win rate of 50%. Up next, we're going to have Ex Mortis Talents. That is going to consist of Jakuva, Dravine, Adager, M4 Lou, Bizel or Bizzle, Fraxzy, Dead Gaze, Kitley, Rise of Fire, and their total win rate will be 71%, with Oregon being their best map and Clubhouse being their worst map. Not really sure how to feel about those two maps being your best and your worst, considering they're the three most popular. It's kind of strange to see a team with such a polarized difference between one of the most top three most popular maps being your best, but also simultaneously your worst. I can't really say how to feel about that. That's not something that I see very often and tells me that they might not be as focused on the standard maps. But with that being said, it does look like we have these teams ready to go for this upcoming matchup. I don't have any information as far as what the map will be, but it does look like we are going to be getting right into that in just a moment if they are ready to start. And it does look like for game one, we will actually be starting on Clubhouse, which unfortunately for Ex Mortis Talents, as we had discussed, is actually their worst map. So we might be in for a bit of a struggle there, but they do have the higher win rate. But with that being said, let's get right into the matchup. Starting off, map one, game one for this Open Qualifier series. Now, with the bans, we're on a standard map. We already know how this is going to go, right? You're going to see likely an Azami. You're likely going to see possibly Fenrir. There's the Monty ban from Adept Club. Again, not seeing anything new there. He's extremely obnoxious over by Rafters. Pretty standard. For the next attacker ban, probably a Ying, probably a Dekebi. We are getting word about significant debuffs and rework around Dekebi's calls, but I don't think that has came into play quite yet. But instead, Ex Mortis Talents will be going for the Maverick ban instead. Now, the Maverick ban is not too shocking. It's a very common ban to get rid of Maverick, but it's still not the top most common bans like we're seeing right now with Ex Mortis Talents for their second and final ban getting rid of Azami. But he is very helpful if you want to try to simplify preventing those walls from getting opened or the hatches. Because keep in mind, right, you can open up a live site, you can bait someone trying to stop the wall from being open, you can nitro right next to the holes, you can try to counter peek whoever's holding for Maverick. There's a lot of gunplay involved in having a Maverick player for breaching. But with that off of the board, it is going to make things a little bit more in the traditional sense. But we'll see how that goes. And then finally, we've got that Cade ban as well. We do have a little bit of a tech pause, possibly having some technical difficulties here. But starting off, we will be going possibly bar and stage. Would love to see how this plays out, if that's actually the map that they are going for, considering how uncommon it is to play that site. Even though CCTV and cache is definitely far from desirable as far as win deltas goes in comparison to gym and bedroom and even basement, it's still not that bad of a site if you're defending it. But going bar and stage, you've got to have something special cooking for that to work. But with Fenrir on the board, that
attackers
is
need to
potentially a
locate and
possibility.
defuse as many
Also got
bombs as they
Echo on the
can.
board, and that's going to be Damien, who is showing up to be a key player for this position. But one of the big questions to look out for on the answers of this round is how are they going to go about maintaining the vertical? Because that
Attackers
cool
have
drop
located a
gives a
bomb.
lot of uncomfortable access unless you have a way to deny that. We are going to see Win, Oryx possibly looking to play over by strip side. Got to rotate over there. A little bit of high risk, high reward. It's very easy to isolate and get cut off from the rest of the map. And it's very difficult to break out
10
of
seconds to
without
go.
stalling significant amount of time to throw off the attackers timing-wise. So
5
that's
seconds to
another
go.
thing to possibly keep an eye out as well. It does look like we've got some investment over from
Attackers are moving.
one sheet trying to deny that gym position, trying to hold for the hatch drop. One thing that's interesting to point out is we actually do not have a or bloodbath. Starting off with the Logipus, very common position to hold. A lot of fortifications over by Strip Club, and there we go, folks. The first pick, Win window going to be going aggressive towards the bottom of Moto. And that's going to be able to take out Nomad, who's going to be huge in rounding up defenders. That Nomad no longer available. Kitley going down. The first one to go. But we're already seeing presence over in CCTV. No space taken quite yet into Cash. We'll finally see that push. Waiting for another swing. Starting to get the hole, but a very nice shotgun pick. Gonna be able to deny that angle hold. That'll be Malu going down in turn. Minute 53, and they haven't still made much progress except for Dead Gaza being able to catch Zetsi. They will have that construction hall to push from, but with a minute and 42 seconds, they still have long ways to go in dismantling the second floor to be able to go for next game. But they are falling apart one after another. Kirby taking Dead Gaze. That'll be a refrag. 1 minute 30 seconds. And Ex Mortis Talents is already down to 2 players remaining, a 2-to-1 ratio. And with how Adept Club is now, for the most part, falling off the vertical and is spread around, this is a dangerous situation for Ex Mortis Talents to be in, unless the information is coming out. We are seeing a little bit of a droning from Rizzy, trying to figure out where these stragglers are, possibly isolating ones, but it seems like the information isn't quite there, as they might be walking right into a trap. Munchie's holding a very nice angle all the way above onto Rizzy. So far, hasn't connected the dots, but it's positions like these that are potentially putting Ex Mortis Talents into a bind. They do have eyes on Win. They know he's there, but shots might have given away that they have eyes. Munchie will be able to take those eyes out onto Rizzy. There's the swing, but J9T will be able to catch Win. Stuck in a rock and hard place. Not going to be able to get out. 35 seconds remaining. Now a 3v1. Still has 3 more fights to isolate, but with no defender in hand, have to try to get that at some point. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 fights forced. Tries to go for the motion detector, but he's taken out by Munchie in turn. And that is going to be their first round in favor for Adept Club. The problem when it comes to playing first floor, right? When it comes to attacking, you have to find a way to round up defenders. There's too many positions that can focus in on site. You've got stock, you've got lobby, you have kitchen, you've got main stairs,
attackers need to locate and defuse
There's
bombs.
way too much. Pretty much the entire map outside of basement is a viable playground to really get your damage in. So in turn, you really need to find a way to round about defenders and flush them out, or at least create some kind of pocket that you can operate in. Unfortunately for Ex Mortis Talents, they were unsuccessful in rounding up Adept Club. They couldn't really find a pocket to work with, getting caught in multiple turns, like we saw with the struggle to clear out construction. This has been kind of a
10 seconds left before
weakness that we
insertion.
saw throughout that first round. And Adept Club just had too much
5 seconds
flexibility
to go.
for Ex Mortis Talents to handle, as well as being able to pick up some crucial picks in
Attackers are
denying
moving
that
out to
second
locate a
floor hold,
bomb
which
and
gave
defuse
them, what I'd argue, more than they potentially bargained for in establishing a successful throne, which they definitely had. Looking back now, we're starting off with Gym and Bedroom for our second round. It's not looking too bad. No initial pick, so it doesn't seem like either of these teams are going to be playing especially aggressive, which is something that definitely be kind of used to as you get into these higher tiers. But keep in mind, the little bit qualifiers, we're still starting out. It's going to be a little bit slow and kind of messy, but we are starting to see the pressure towards CCTV and Cash, as it does look like Ex Mortis Talents is trying to full send this space here, or getting ready to go for that wall. We managed to cut that open. Not much utility invested towards stalling that. So far, they haven't made much space quite yet outside of CCTV first minutes of the round. But if you're getting the fundamental walls open that you need, maybe it doesn't really matter. Still, not a lot of aggression from either of these teams, playing it rather slow, just waiting for that eventual creep in. However, Lin trying to contest the breach ends up going down in turn. That is going to be one Cash player now out of the picture. The Pink's coming out. They know where Zetsi is, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They're going to catch him out. That's going to be J9T being able to pick one out. They are going to be able to have Cash and CCTV full control. The minute and 30 seconds That is a standard stall time for losing 2 players. That is going to put Adept Club at the disadvantage as Ex Mortis Talents now looking to potentially pick up this Jacuzzi wall as well. But so far, doesn't look like they've got anyone in position to handle the breach, and they don't. Wall now open. This is just setting up Ex Mortis Talents. Potentially go for breach. Peeks out, exposes himself to that cash position. You gotta be ready for that breach. That's gonna be another down. That's gonna be Munchie. Goes to the swing. J19 able to take Kirby, establishing Logi space. Adept Club is quickly going out of options, and Damien will get pinched out from the Jacuzzi repel. And that will be Ex Mortis Talents' first round. Now 1-1. In an interesting turn of events, possibly not that interesting considering how Jim and Bedroom were, we're going to see Adept Club now going into Cash and CZTV. But let's kind of talk about the change in pace there. When you're going into site that you know much better, it's going to be a lot faster, right? Being able to clear, take up space.
Bomb located by attackers.
Much more standardized, which Ex Mortis Talents was able to take advantage of quite well, being able to hold their ground into CCTV and allowing Adept Club on multiple turns to overexpose themselves, whether it was in CCTV or even by Jacuzzi, or from what we saw with Damien, I believe, or as Damien or Munchie as Bandit, completely exposing himself to the breach. And this kind of positional inconsistency could be a huge point of exploitation for Ex Mortis Talents. These are the kind of mistakes you can't really afford on a map like Clubhouse. You need to know how these positions are going to be set up. You need to know what the exposure and the pressure points are going to be at all times, because of how linear this map has become due to extensive familiarity. It's pretty much routine at this point, and if you're letting your guard down like that, that's going to be a massive detriment that is going to cost you rounds, as we just saw there against Adept Club. But if Adept Club can funnel some aggressive energy towards countering the space that Ex Mortis Talents is slowly creeping, it could be their winning ticket if they're able to keep that up. But so far, still exposing them to undesired positions, almost getting caught in the fire as we saw Zetsi playing over by construction. No major space taken from Ex Mortis Talents, although we do see a full rotate off from Adept Club, but not entirely. We still have Zetsi still holding from bottom of gym, and improper information could be detrimental, but it'll be there. Kentley gonna be able to hold from full double, taking Zetsi out, ready for that position. That's gonna be good setup for Ex Mortis Talents to be able to establish Bedroom and Logi. One step closer to Adept Club's doorstep. Though we've now come to a bit of a slowdown here now that they've established that space. It's almost like they're kind of wondering, well, what now? But I really don't think that's the right question. I think now is the time to really hammer the question down. You've got a one-person advantage, and that one-person advantage is being taken advantage of quite well, having another play below to create pressure. But when you've got Kitley just waltzing into lobby, it kind of evens things out a little bit, making things not so desirable. But J19 will be able to catch Damien on a really nice shot towards red. Brock Rizzy taking another. That's going to be Kirby. Sight now rapidly falling apart. Now we're going to see the fallback, but it's going to be too late as J19 will be ready from red to take that position. Now up to Win, who's been over by Raptors this entire time. Plant now going down. He's going to have to try to find his way out.
Attackers are activated.
Force this 1v1 against J19 if he can handle it, or Malu does manage to secure that pick. Fuse is already dropped. We're going to take another from below, but everyone from Ex Mortis Talents is already out and gone, except for one. It'll be Dead Gaze holding by the Valk to be able to get a little bit of damage out onto Win. Time's running out. Gotta push that Valk at some point. But right now, a little bit of ring around the Rosie, putting that pressure on. 16 health, sustaining a lot of damage. Just can't connect that final shot. Tries to pull the pistol, but Dead Gaze is having none of it. Ex Mortis Talents to take another round. It's crazy to see how Ex Mortis Talents, even though they're kind of playing the standard, playing it safe, they're still getting so much impact out of it. It comes down to consistency. That's really what it is. they're taking their time. They're making sure they take the right steps. They're not overextending, maybe a little bit, but not to a point that it is detrimental, right? Maybe some rotations, they don't go according to plan,
Attackers need to
but the
locate and
meat and
defuse
potatoes of their
bombs.
executions are still running according to plan. They're not getting stuck at choke points. They still know how to create their their openings, and that is thanks in major part to J9T, who
Attackers have
knows the
discovered the
timing
location of a
of
bomb.
his entry, and that is doing Ex Mortis Talents a lot of good here. Meanwhile, over in Adab Club, there just seems to be generally a kind of a lack of cohesion in how to repel the execute. You're seeing a lot of rotating, a lot of running around, and just getting caught in Ex Mortis'
10
crossfire.
seconds to
You
insertion.
can't really afford that when you're down a player and up to
5
the
seconds
last
remaining.
seconds of an execute. And unfortunately for Adab Club, this is what they're doing. They're
Attackers are
getting
heading out to
caught
defuse a
into
bomb.
the crossfires, and they have to be able to stand their ground. And so far, they're not. And I think Ex Mortis Talents might be recognizing that, as we have now Malu on the blitz, doubling down on punishing this excessive rotating that Adab Club is pulling off. And this is an operator you need to be able to stand ground on, and this could be potentially disastrous. You've got 2 on site so far, 3 trying to full send it. J19 already pushing down blue. Does Kirby even know? No, he does not. And there comes the rush. Blitz pushing out. Gonna get caught by Zetzi. That's one down. Damien getting a very nice shot on J19. That's gonna be another one taken out. However, the push has full sent in. They're deep into armory. Now possibly looking to go for a plan here. Dead Gaze is in position to run that down, but you still have some deep in arsenal. Try to contest position. Sights going out, but not able to catch it. Arbolino with a very nice shot through the wall, able to take Rizzy out. As it goes through, doesn't connect. 3v1. Ex Mortis Talents slowly falling apart here. He needs to take this one here. Stuck and cornered, but can't find his way out. As Lynn from Church will be able to eliminate Dead Gaze. Rush is only as good as the actions you take after that initial control. And unfortunately for Ex Mortis Talents, they didn't make the right choices here, allowing for a very strong fallback from Adab Club. Credit where credit is due, though. Adab Club had very good response coming back onto site. The timing there could not have been more crucial. That support from deep in armory was very helpful in slicing up Ex Mortis Talents, as well as the pick that we saw from Church.
Defenders,
to
protect
take
your bombs
out
from
that
being
blue
defused by
player,
attackers.
right? Was critical. They needed to get rid of J19, who was really put in a choke hold as far as the options to be able to deny from the tunnel. Plus, by getting that opening, it just gave a lot of needed space for Adab Club to shut down Ex Mortis Talents. This is why I say rushes aren't always the play. And more often than not, they're not the play,
Located a bomb.
period, point blank. And here we can kind of see that Ex Mortis Talents throwing
10
away,
seconds
in
before
essence,
insertion.
their round lead that they had over Adab Club.
5
However,
seconds to
with the,
insertion.
I would say, consistency they have going on right now, I would say they're
Attackers
still
are
kind of
heading
on
out to
top,
defuse a
as long
bomb.
as they don't go for these kind of gimmicky plays like that. When they had the lead at the initial start of pushing in, I would say that's probably the time to fall back, because now you have everyone rounded up back on the site, and that is a pace that you can easily manipulate. But they kind of pushed it a little bit too far, especially after losing control of Blue Hole, and that's where things really went awry. But again, you're seeing Adab Club on bar. I just can't believe a team would want to play a site like this that much. However, it does look like Ex Mortis Talents much more ready for that, or that player. Echo, Damien, over by Strip Club. They've got one over in Bathroom Hall, 2 pushing towards Strip. This could be a clear that we don't really see very often, but the pressure is on to push out this Echo player. He is completely trapped. We'll see just that, as Kitley will be able to take Damien. There's only so much you can do without the proper support, and unfortunately, Adab Club really didn't have Damien's back there, considering you kind of have to. Oh, again, don't rotate into these crossfires. They might be missing those shots, but it doesn't mean it's a good habit. Barely stick with her life. Zetzi will be able to take Dead Gaze. Possibly take another. Knows there's one over in construction. 2 still up in vertical, but they do have full Strip Club control. That top control could really put the pinch on Adab Club if they are successful on that. However, Malu is pretty much all alone right now with multiple roamers above. this isn't quite a recipe for a successful top clear. Maybe that's not what they're intending. I'm not sure what they're intending, as Zetsy will be able to catch J19. That's going to be one pick. Now finding out that she's quickly being surrounded here. It's going to be a fight for their life, and unfortunately, that life is not going to be Malu's. That will be up. Kirby to shut that down. Now Rizzy going to be the last one still over in Strip Club. You had a split push, but unfortunately, that split fell apart. Again, lack of support, right? We saw the lack of support for Damien, but they learned their lesson, backing up Wind, as we saw there above. And now, the same thing with Ex Mortis Talents. Neither J9 or Malu really had much other than information to be able to hold them down. However, you can't hold Rizzy down, able to take Zetsy out. That's going to be one, looking for possibly another. But you've got a crossfire here between Main and Bar, and walks into both of them. That's not the right answer. You got to take one, and unfortunately, Rizzy took both. So to be fair, possibly didn't know with the limited information he had how much of a trap he was in. Now, Adept Club back in the lead. Moving on now to Bedroom and Gym. This is where Ex Mortis Talents really hit their stride when they attacked this site. Being able to clear CCTV and cache with very minimal repercussions.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as
being
many
able
bombs
to
as they can.
sweep the site, the strong entry from J9T on the Ash, as well as support from Malu, who's been playing quite well as a flex thus far. But despite the 1 and 4, he still had a lot of presence in being in key positions and displacing. And honestly, when it comes to an execute, sometimes that's all you need. You need a fall guy to take the hit, and then you send it in. And that has been working for Ex Mortis Talents to an extent, outside of the one rush that they gave to Adept Club. That was just
10 seconds to go.
What do you say about that? But either way,
5 seconds left.
still pretty close. No clear winner here, but we are about to hit the swap.
Attack
Unfortunately
objective is
for
located.
Adept Club, this is one of Ex Mortis Talents' strongest wins on the attack. So they're going to need to pick this round up if they want a lead. Otherwise, we're going to be back to square one here. Munchie getting a little aggressive, but takes a bit of damage in turn from J19. Holding that, a little bit of aggression towards the beginning of the round. No picks, though. Still emblematic of how things are being taken a lot slower here from both teams in comparison to what we would typically expect over on the NA side of things. Does spot the CCTV player. They do have that information on Zetsy as they are looking to make that clear. We got Wind over in lobby. So far, not getting spotted over by lobby. That mist drone could be a huge disaster. But checks again, finds the one mine. That's gonna be Wind. Got Rafters control. Here comes the push. No matter how Adept Club responds to this, this is where they faltered significantly and took a heavy hit. How they contest this space is what I think will determine if Adept Club takes another round or if Ex Mortis Talents brings it back 3-3. They've already fallen back, and so far, no picks. Last time, there was 2 down at this point. They have given up CCTV and arguably cash as well, but with how slow Ex Mortis Talents is playing, 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, and they haven't even secured cash. We're one drone to tell them all they need to take that space. I do kind of wonder what the direction is here as far as their droning matrix. It seems like they're kind of losing time, not droning out to realize there's really nobody there. But regardless, Mortis Talents now establishing that space. It's a matter of getting into construction. You do see they're starting to spread out, now getting some of the setup that they need from CCTV and cash.
A bomb
Have that construction control. So far, Adept Club is just slowly walking back and letting them take space. Eventually, you gotta start fighting back. And when is it gonna happen? There it is, but it's not gonna go well for Adept Club. J19 and Dead Gaze. Kidley gonna be able to take another as well. Only one pick from Adept Club, and Damien's gonna be the last one alive, being able to take Kidley. Everyone else getting rapidly and simultaneously wiped out. You get that in this next all 1-for-1 disastrous results. Damien trying to fight back by main stairs, but Rizzy's gonna be the one to cut him off. Thanks to a crossfire between Logi and Bedroom. And that is going to be for Ex Mortis Talents to bring it back to an even 3-3 as we now come to a swap. Adept Club on the attack, Ex Mortis Talents now on the defense. The question that I pose for the audience here is, considering that this is Ex Mortis Talents' weakest map of the two, unless I got it twisted, I might have it backwards from memory. I don't think I do, however. But considering, assuming I'm right, Ex Mortis Talents Clubhouse is their weakest map, how do we think that Ex Mortis Talents will be able to fare on their defense here? Or is it going to be a
Defenders,
similar
protect your
3-3
bombs from being
situation?
defused
Keep in
by
mind they do
attackers.
have that higher win rate, so there is that to go alongside it. The fact that overall they've still been playing very well from the information that we have on them based off OPL data. They have a pretty high win delta, but still, Clubhouse being one of their weakest maps, which is pretty unusual for one of the Classic 3 to also be their strongest, it does kind of pose the question of how they're going to be able to do on defense, considering how extensive that history is. 71 is a very specific
10
percentage,
seconds
which
to
indicates a
insertion.
little bit more of a match history here.
5 seconds
Unfortunately, I
left.
don't have as much information as far as Madden Club go, so...
Attackers'
thus
objective
far,
is to locate a
despite
bomb and
Mortis Talents
defuse it.
this being their worst map, they have still been able only to even it out. And if that's a show of what's to come, perhaps that could be trouble for Madden Club, even if they had the lead in the first half. It's one thing to defend, but it's always another thing to attack. And that is what we're going to have to see in just a second. Composition definitely looking unique, to say the least. Grim, Glass, Sense, and Ying, definitely not a composition that I would consider meta or standard in any way, shape, or form, which does make me curious what kind of special execution they are looking to do as far as basement goes. Potentially a slicing dice where you have full eyes and they have nothing, but you are going to lose one of those blinders. That's going to be a one-for-one trade between J9T and Win, both fragging each other out. You lose the Fenrir, you lose the Ying. That's a lot of more open vision across the board. Oh, Damien trying to look for a main player. Actually goes out, misses, completely misses that main player there. That's going to be kicked. Almost getting caught by Damien. Does manage to rotate out. What is it with running into crossfires? Either way, 4v4, no picks ever since that initial towards main stairs, and they really haven't gotten much as far as setup. There's still a lot more to go. There is still your card breaches in hand, and nothing to contest in. Oh, there's that main peak finally coming to a conclusion. Hitley being able to take Damien down. Smokes now finally coming out. It looks like this setup is now
Attackers
finally
have
coming to
located a bomb.
fruition. Zetzi pushing up with Blue and Diffuser. Does manage to take one down, pushes up even further. Now Zetzi's last in live. We can see another getting picked off. Isolating these fights. Zetzi now deep into Armory. Just still walking off site.
Attackers drop
That is going to be
Diffuser.
Kitley. Tries to come back, but succeeds. Able to catch Zetzi amidst a drone drop. Just couldn't connect those final shots to get a plant going. An interesting gimmick at a club, I will give you that, but unfortunately, it didn't really work. When you have that many essential ops, whether it's Glass, whether it's Ying, or anyone else, you really got to play tightly knit to ensure you can keep your numbers up for as strong of an execute as possible. That's kind of the weakness, right? Is that it's really hard to retain essential ops when everybody is essential in its own
Attackers
regard.
need to
Whether it's
locate and
Ying
defuse
for
as many
her
bombs as they
flashes,
can.
or it's Sense for their smoke wall, right? It's paramount that you keep as many numbers up as possible. And unfortunately, for a club, they lost one of their big gamers when it comes to a strong execute, and that was Ying very early on. Even though it was just a trade between J9T and Win, at the end of the day, you're losing execute material like that, and that's what you're banking on heavily. Get on the site, you end up losing big time. And that's exactly what we saw. That one-for-one trade doing more
10
good for
seconds
Exporters
left.
Talents than
5 seconds to go. Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse.
Moving on, though, it's now Adam Club's turn to try to see how they can take gym and bedroom. Exporters Talents was extremely strong in their clear and having a very well coordinated execute when it came to taking that space over in bedroom or over in gym and bedroom, especially the Logi take. That was devastating, with J19 often leading the charge in that position. And now Adam Club has the opportunity to do the exact same thing, being a lot faster when it comes to taking these walls down.
A bomb has been located.
However, you do have a little bit more utility from Exmortis Talents invested towards that CCTV wall, but fortunately, it doesn't slow a thing down. In fact, they're already going for that jacuzzi wall. They get that as well. Looks like having that bandit really didn't do much for them, unfortunately, as both of those walls are now open. That is key breaching essentials for this gym and bedroom take. Potentially a setback for Exmortis Talents if they can't hold back this clear onto CCTV. So far, seeing only minimal resistance. We got one below. Gibby Kitley, nitro in hand, and potentially catching 4 nitros in hand. I just noticed. Wow, really investing on punishing from below, huh? Still, it's a bit of that coordination that we'd like to see from Exmortis Talents. J19 still holding the ground in cash as these Grims Bs are coming out. We got a little bit of backup from Malu. Now before a bit of damage comes out. Now the wall coming out. They know where J19 is, completely surrounded, and unfortunately gonna go down in turn. Looking for more blood. Won't be able to catch across. Win now with 4 HP. Malu still completely in a position. Minute 15 seconds. Stalled the time a little bit longer than Adam Club was able to do, but still a player down. So does it really matter that much? That's where the debate truly comes in this round, as Kirby will be able to entry into Logi, that Logi being a key position. However, Win will go down. We're going to see Damien take a bit of damage as well. Now a 4v3. They have established massive space. Intel's out, and Dead Gaze is looking to contest this Logi player. However, Damien will be able to catch Z. Z will go down thanks to the mat, and it looks like they are falling apart. Exmortis Talents, as they are going to be able to establish that space, with Logi being an essential cover or opportunity to flood right in and secure the round. Still back even again, 4-4. It has been such a violent back and forth with truly not any standouts other than pretty much J19's blistering killing potential. But outside of that round, I mean, he was completely stuck in a corner with nowhere to run. And here's the weird part. You had Kitley
Attackers need to
below
locate
in
and
lobby.
defuse bombs.
You had 4 nitros on the board. Where did those nitros go? In fact, I don't think a single pick came out from 4 nitros, which I think is a massive waste of utility. And again, Exmortis Talents bringing 3 nitros. What's the point of those nitros if they're not really doing anything for you? You could have had arguably a perfect opportunity to go death by nitro from below. If they had backed off like they were trying to do, they could have leveraged those nitros
10
over by
seconds
Quals.
left.
There were minimal players from Adam Club below, but it just seemed like
5
none
seconds
of those
to insertion.
options were really explored, which is kind of
Attackers
confusing
are moving
considering
out to
how they
locate a bomb and
exercised a
defuse
lot
it.
of their options
The
quite
attacker's
well.
bomb diffuser
On
has
their
been
attack,
dropped.
but defense, not so much. And I can't really testify to why that would be. Maybe it was just timing. Maybe this Adam Club was moving a little too fast for them to get their nitro
Attackers
going.
recovered the bomb
But
diffuser.
either way, the point still stands. They really didn't get the impact out of their utility they were looking for. Bandage utility was badly sidelined from how fast those walls got open. So all of those nitros have joined to use. And again, we got Kitley below. But are we going to see the nitro? Or are we going to see a very nasty wall bang? A lot of damage already going out into Kitley. Not able to secure the pick though. But able to get massive damage as Kitley is now forced to try to force a 1v1 here. Stuck into lobby with very little backup here. Oh, not the drone hole shot. Gonna be able to catch those tootsies from
Bomb
Kitley.
located by
Taking down
attackers.
all the log, and that's already a nitro off the board. You had that player there before, and somehow Adam Club picked up that information, was able to clear it out, resulting in pretty much no impact from that.
Stay back.
So far, Adam Club able to make
Attackers dropped
massive
the
ground as
diffuser.
far as utility deconstruction, and not even a
Attackers
bit
have
of
recovered.
retaliation from Exmortis Talents. Again, backing up, but still losing players. This is too much space to be giving Adam Club, and they're already looking to take cash and possibly construction soon. So far, they've completely given up cash. Still playing cautiously out of position. Drone will go out to confirm that. You do have Dead Gaze going below, possibly looking to make a hero play here. Start to creep up towards Fred. I don't think Munchie's ready for this push. Here it comes. Oh, does manage to pick one up. Almost misses it, but a little bit of wallbang will save that. Still a Nitro in hand. Still potential damage. Goes out. Doesn't connect though. That's not going to be any damage that Ex Mortis Talents sorely needs here, as they're still at a one-person disadvantage. But we are noticing a bit of a slowdown from Adept Club, as we're now 43 seconds, and they still haven't made that push into Lodge yet. However, it is still a considerable vulnerability, as you don't have a lot of presence here, especially Kirby holding the hatch. Goes for the drop, runs right into the Frostbite. You see it! What just happened? That's unfortunate. You still have 2 over in Logi. It doesn't matter. The fence is still falling apart. Adept Club, the second they get onto site, Ex Mortis Talents just can't do anything about it. That right there is where Adept comes out on top. Now they're the ones with the lead here. Again, it's very strange how Ex Mortis Talents is playing this year. You're trying to go for, kind of backing off, let them walk into your trap, but then you see these little moments here where they kind of get themselves stuck
Defenders,
in these
protect your
positions
bombs
here
from being
without the
defused by
proper
attackers.
backup or utility infrastructure to really support it, and it results in them taking major hits. Too much to bear when it comes to the execute. And Adept Club obviously has no problem with that. Even the flank behind, in the grand scheme of things, didn't have the impact necessary for them to pick up that round. And we're just seeing a bit of, I think, what you could call potentially complacency here, as far as being comfortable in the positions you already know, despite the intel being abundantly clear on the attacking side of where you're coming from.
5 seconds
It
left
doesn't seem
before
to be doing
insertion.
them a lot of good, and we can potentially see that issue again, as you've got
Objective.
both eyes on Henley here from afar. She chooses to hold Cursor again. That could be a problem, especially when you got an operator like Munchie, who doesn't exactly give you space to be comfortable. But it seems like Adept Club might be going for the exact same thing that Ex Mortis Talents tried to do when they rushed down
Bomb
tunnel.
located by attackers.
Now, we all know how that went last time. If Ex Mortis Talents does their due diligence in holding down sight, it's not going to have the result they're looking for. But if they play this slow, use that pressure, which they've already gotten one of the Goyos down, that is thanks in big part to Zetzi. Again, I argue this all the time. Twitch and Brava are so underrated because people just set and forget their utility. This is something that happens so often, and she makes it you cannot do that. And now that potential is coming back yet again, and oh, it's so satisfying to see the consequences of that. Usually, it's just break whatever utility and whatever, but no, in recent days, that has not been the case. Whenever she does her work, it results in big impact. Speaking of big impact, we're going to see Dead Gaze, the well-placed Nitro, will be able to take Twitch out. So no more utility destruction. What you see is what you got as far as taking down some Goyo charges, and that's going to be about it. However, we do have Malu looking to counter by holding Tunnel, and with Munchie waiting for the Q to push down Tunnel. That could be a problem, having someone much closer than you're expecting.
Attackers recovered the
It's just a
diffuser.
little bit of a push-up, and this could be tragic. I don't think he knows, or maybe he does. Oh, both spotting each other at the perfect time. And now is the moment to finally push. Malu putting the pressure on. Munchie gonna be able to catch Malu. Oh, now if that isn't siege timing, I don't know what is. But it does look like Munchie is now ready to go. Under pressure. They have full wall control. Here comes the push. J19's not having any of it. Able to take one. But
Attackers
Kirby and
recovered
Munchie
the
will be
bomb
able to take
diffuser.
2 here. Now that's going to be a collapse for Ex Mortis Talents. This is now down to the last person. Stuck in the corner with a shield right in your face. You're going to have to take this fight. No impacts remaining, and it's going to get cornered by Munchie to take Rizzy as well. Blitz going in a much better direction in favor of Adept Club. Now putting them at match points. Ex Mortis Talents has only got one shot to save this, and it is now. They've got to win 2 rounds in a row. Their defense not going very well over in Gym and Bedroom. trying to play this tug and pull approach, but still overexposing themselves too much. And yet again, we are seeing just how powerful Adept Club can be on their execute. The differentiation is there. And it is that Adept Club was more consistent on their defense.
Attackers need to
bringing it
locate
down
and
to a
defuse
3-3
as many
split,
bombs as
where
they can.
Mortis talents kind of struggles with the back and forth tug that can make a heavy nitro setup so devastating. But also, too, Adept Club is just very strong on their executes. And if they can continue to leverage this, we will have ourselves a winner. But if X-Mortis is able to turn this around, possibly put a strain on the execution potential of Adept Club, then maybe they will have a shot. But time for the answer to that is going to be right now.
10 seconds
There's
left.
no more buffer space, and there's still timeouts remaining. One
5
from
seconds
each
to
of them
insertion.
that have not been used. But as far as this round's concerned,
Attackers are
they
moving
gotta at
out
least
to
make
locate
it
a
here
bomb and
if they
defuse
want to
it.
be able to call that to try to shut out the potential. Otherwise, it could be game. Oh gosh darn it, and we're seeing the Boss G again. What is wrong with you players in Boss G? Every freaking time in competitive, I see Vigil, and there it is. Ooh, speaking of which, there it is. J19 already taking a first pick a minute into the round. We haven't been seeing a lot of that. There it is. 11-7, a man who has been really popping off for X-Mortis talents, able to take the first pick. Pops an impact. Ooh, what a shot! Spots the cheeky melee hole, able to catch Bunchy, and that is gonna be 2 picks. One from Rizzy, one from J9T. Adept Club now down 2 players before they've even really had one building present. This is possibly X-Mortis' key here. This roam and the ability to deny Adept Club an initial entry, which has gone disastrously for them so far, could be the ticket they need to carry themselves into an overtime situation. Not even a minute into the round, losing 2 attackers is not the way you want to start this out. And Rezzy's not done yet, looking to possibly take another. Kirby all by himself does spot the Vigil by main stairs. That's what you gotta use that utility for. But he doesn't care. He still might possibly hold by main, but we got wind from bedroom, holding that, forming that crossfire. But killed by main stairs. That Bobby, 2 bullets, 2 people. It can put in the works. Down to 48 feet. Does get spotted from the holes above the bar. Does finally fall back. A minute and 18 seconds. All players on X-Mortis alive. The damage has most certainly been done here. In other news, we've got J9T ratting all the way in kitchen. I don't think a single person for Adept Club knows what's happening here.
Bomb diffuser
Oh,
has
this
been
sprint's gonna be
dropped.
devastating! J9T finally pushes out. Makes 1, makes 2, crosses right into his line of fire, takes another for a triple kill, looking for the
Attackers
4K, but
recovered the
can't catch
diffuser.
it out of ammo, unfortunately. Zetzi will be able to get that refrag, but now with no ammo, runs into tunnel, right into Dead Gaze. The rat strategies from X-Mortis. What is that? Sitting all the way in the back of kitchen, in the back of tunnel? Oh, X-Mortis, you cheeky SOBs. But you made it work. You brought the Buzz G, you brought the damage, and there you go. You're 1 round closer. And as we discussed, there's the timeout. Remember, folks, statistically speaking, the team that calls the timeout is the team that is going to be more likely to take that round after the timeout. This is exactly what I was talking about, and there it is. This is a break that they sorely need, because I'm sure that they are recognizing at this point, you can't run that same thing again. There's no way, right? The information's going to be out there. Adept Club is definitely not going to be too happy with how that round played out, and is going to be more cautious on their intel to prevent an overtime situation. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. That could just not be the case. But either way, that is the state of the conditions. There was just not a lot of accountability in clearing. The information just wasn't there. J9T and Rizzy did a world worth of damage and pretty much got away with it scot-free, and were able to do it again, right? You can't leave roamers unaccounted for, especially when you're down in count
Defenders,
like
protect
that.
your bombs
Because
from
if you do,
being
you
used by
start getting
attackers.
desperate, time starts running out, and that's where these cheeky players on X-Mortis talents get their hurt in. And the hurt They certainly did. Now, moving on to potentially the last round of this BO or of this matchup. We're now moving on to CCTV and Cash.
10 seconds remaining.
Which is a very surprising pick, considering this is one of the
5
most
seconds remaining.
balanced map or sites when it comes to attacker defender differential. Arguably leaning towards being more attacker sided. So I do wonder what Ex Mortis Talents' approach is here. Because keep in mind, the weakness that we have seen from them so far is that they are not very good at handling executes, and their tug and pull is not what it needs to be. But it seems like they're still thinking on that regardless. We've got Kitley, Rizzy, and Deadgaze, all with nitros in hand. Valk, Bandit, and Tubarao. So it does seem like they're still keeping their composition for the most part the same. Other than the fact that there's not a vigil, but that was kind of a one-time swap that gave them the opportunity for the timeout.
Located by attackers.
But strong execute here could be potentially disastrous. We got a lot of operators that are good for execute, like Lion and Grim. Lion Scan coming out, Wall now getting open, or trying to get open. So far, not successful. Tubarao all that time a little bit. But here's the thing. Time is not what Ex Mortis Talents has been able to bank on successfully. So that Tubarao, all it's going to do is unfortunately call the inevitable. We could see a little bit of aggression from Kitley. Goes by garage. Possibly catch someone out, but instead, it'll be Rizzy getting caught himself thanks to Zetsi from that CCTV window repel. It's going to be one less player they'll have to deal with here. That's the Bandit. So whatever Bandit box is down, that's it. They can get that off. That wall is as good as theirs. They also have construction. Pressure mounting from both fronts. This could prove problematic for Ex Mortis Talents. They can't really give themselves a break here. Right now, they're all pretty much stacked with red stairs. I'd argue exactly what Adept Club wants, essentially creating an opening for them to walk in. Minute 22, Line Scan now calling and coming out. 2 pings on 2 players. Shots coming out. A bit of damage going toward Kitley. Now at 59 with Adept Club. Effectively unfazed by the exchange of gunfire. Zetsi can catch Kitley. The defense falling apart as Kirby takes another. And now it is time to go for the plant. Starting to see the walk-up. No nitros in hand remaining. All over by construction. One last Lion Scan. Both of them ping, and they get wiped out by Adept Club for a flawless round. What a way to end it out. Being able to isolate Ex Mortis Talents for them to pick up this game win. So, congratulations to Adept Club and their very powerful attack. That was the delineating factor. I mean, Ex Mortis Talents was making a really good show for a comeback there. They were able to pick up a crucial round and then call a timeout. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure who was making the shot calls there. But going CCTV and Cash, which is very execute heavy, was not the right call. This has been the point where they were broken on several occasions. And naturally, it happened again. So I'm not really sure what the direction is as far as shot calling and decision making, but not gonna lie, I really don't think that was it, unfortunately. But as far as Adept Club goes, they played their strength and they played it well. Doubling down with the Lion was just what they needed. I mean, look at how many pings that they were able to get onto Ex Mortis Talents. That right there is really helpful in isolating fights, exactly in the way that we just saw here. But with that being said, folks, the Cavalry's here. We do got a backup caster, so I won't be the only one for the rest of tonight. But stay tuned, as we will have our next matchup ready for you very soon.
distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth.
I was muted. Hello. Sorry about that. But yeah, we are now back. We just witnessed our first matchup, and we are now on to our second matchup. And I'm now here with Necris. Finally, I've got some backup here. How you doing, Necris?
Oh, I'm doing great. Especially electrified by your casting in the last game. And I have to say, holding it by oneself, it's quite difficult. And you have been holding it for quite a long time. And I'm here to relieve. Okay, this is going in the wrong direction. But don't. It's fine. We are here to cast some action-packed games. We are here to cast something that is probably very, very violent and insanely stupid. And sometimes bad decisions make for good entertainment. So here we are. And I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I expect to see a lot of bad decisions there, and I'm all for it. But speaking of teams making bad decisions, let's talk about the teams themselves, shall we? First up, we've got Team BFTD. That is going to be Nihilus, Noskul, Ahan. Okay, these names are going to mess me up. I apologize, everyone. This is an American butchering this. Buxi, Suko, or Nixty, Lenart, and Gaffatron with a 42% win rate, their best map being Border, and their worst being Chalet. I don't get what it is with the top 3 maps being the worst. It's so awkward. But for team number 2, we've got Adept Club. We'll be seeing them yet again. And it's the same roster, Munchie, Kusta, Zet, Damien, Duskin. We've seen some of these players earlier. Winstrol, Kirby, Dinny, and Mikaz with their new win rate now being 56%. Consulate, still their best. And Border, they're one of their worst. A bit of a more mix-up of maps, not your standard 3. But it does look like we have a full lobby. And I do have a little bit of a question because we did talk about this a bit. Necris, I heard you could do a bit of voice impersonation. So,
oh yes, I love being a parrot for a living, and I think I can truly bring something to the stage. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna I think in the American spirit of brotherhood, I think I'm gonna transition into something a bit more at home for you. So it's probably a bit easier for you to converse with me. But okay, Nighthaven Labs. It's absolutely one of the worst maps I'd hate to play it, but at the same time, I love watching it because it's super vertical and it's not necessarily the same thing that you're used to when it comes to Clubhouse or like Oregon. But I like Nighthaven for the angles. I like that the attackers don't necessarily have a super disadvantage here, and of course, like basement. I generally like basement holds. Defense is entertaining on basement, but when it's Nighthaven, basement becomes an action-packed, complete kill zone, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, fine, Monty getting banned instantly. I like that ban. Usually Monty being a very aggressive operator, and it doesn't necessarily, serve that kind of purpose other than just leading a plant and just hoping that the rest of your team kind of follows suit, gives you a bit of support, and you're fine. And Dokabi and Monty go out. I think I'm kind of running out of gas right now, so I'm going to transition back to how I was. I think that was enough.
You sure got that American spirit. I'll give you that. That's what we're talking about. That's a little bit of army wording. Don't worry about that too much. But as far as bands concerned, we're next up. We got Fenrir, Team BFTD, taking that out for their last ban. So far, again, very standard compositions. You know, the Dekebi, the Ying, the Monty, the Fenrir, well, not Solus anymore, but we got Cade banned as well. I'm not really sure where the trend of getting rid of Cade is coming from as of recent. We saw that in last game as well with Exporters versus Adept Club. That was another one of their matchups as well. But with that being said, it does look like we're going to be starting with Command Center and Servers, a map that would have been very strong for Monty, but of course, being off the board, it's definitely one of those maps that I'm not too familiar with. I know it's been around for a while now, and it's definitely kind of wild to see it in the competitive pool for as long as it has been now, but it's definitely got kind of elements from different maps, and it's a lot bigger when it comes to the options for maneuvering around. And in that regard, the first floor, it almost kind of
Attackers
reminds
need
me
to locate and
of
defuse
Emerald
bombs.
Plains in that kind of way.
Yeah, and it's as elusive as Emerald Plains, I think. I think about it that way. I feel one of those maps that are truly
Attackers have
unique.
discovered the location of a bomb.
Layout, tower, skyscraper, Night Haven, and as you said, Emerald Plains. It produces this kind of quandary for the player to not necessarily just approach it the traditional way of just flank 5 different places, enter through roamers, and just hope for the best. It's usually offering more multiple options and for maybe a
seconds
bit
remaining.
more unconventional roaming strategies. And I really I look
5
forward to
seconds
Night Haven
remaining.
because of that. And it is pretty unconventional in the way defense also plays it.
Attackers are
Because it
heading out to
rewards
defuse a bomb.
turtling more than other maps. I feel, at least. I may be wrong about this, but turtling here is not that much of a death sentence as it is in maybe Clubhouse or something like that. And it's always refreshing to see a turtle strategy work and not sound completely lame. So
No, absolutely. And I mean, that's kind of what makes this map unique. There's a lot more, I wouldn't even say choke points, but rather power positions that can make this map a lot more dynamic in that regard, as far as options to hunker down, stand your ground, and kind of take the fight head on instead of trying to rotate and run around, force one, try to break these choke points. You really don't have that problem as much anymore, but we are starting to see those initial breaches. Nihilus already taken Set C very early on. That's going to be a first pick down. Now Tubarão off the table. So far, we're not even a minute into the round, already seeing a lot of damage. Got some lower presence. Mostly Team BFTD stacked up around outside of IT. No push yet beyond that. We're starting to see a bit of a slowdown, but possibly a bit of a push towards Garage as well. A lot slower here. However, Suko getting caught into crossfires. There's the swing. Duskin to finish the job. Gonna be able to take that fight from the hole. That will be a 1-for-1 trade. A little bit of presence from below as well. BFTD tries to pinch out IT, but starting to come to a standstill. Now a minute and 30 seconds in.
it's remarkable to see patience from both sides. Like, it's just enough. It's not ridiculously too long, hoping for someone else to make mistakes, and in turn you make the mistakes. It didn't happen this time. It's more or less an even trade right now. No one's at a disadvantageous position. But the way that every single person from Adept Club is positioned, they are completely taking over the second floor. And usually the servers, that is the point where I feel it's such a great area to watch so many different angles, and it offers a defensive position many more options than the attacking one. Like CC stairs, fine, you get into hallway, come into command center, and it's okay, boom, and just like that, it opens up everything. I was talking about defense just being a bit tight here, but not as tight as they would hope. But Valkyrie is getting shot overhead, and now almost triple kill. Simple as that. I mean, piercing. This is turning into hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, it's looking really rough for Adept Club as they are starting to fall apart. Team BFTD being able to take control over from server room is a huge push and the right step for them. But still got Damien down, possible res. However, there's another one holding towards the window, and that's going to be Game or Slayer to be able to take both. Not even given a chance for a possible revive, shutting that out. Kind of what makes this site so interesting to play around, that divide, being able to rotate through. Even if you've got rotates in between, it's still kind of tough to navigate from command center when you lose servers. It's a tough spot to be in.
Absolutely.
And losing electrical room like that was a huge detriment for Adept Club. in being able to take that. But despite that setback, they're still going to run it back again. Adept Club still confident that they're going to be able to hold
Attackers need to
on
locate
to
and
this
defuse
site.
bombs.
You can only hold site as well as these surrounding rooms, as even though you've definitely got tucked into servers, which is a pretty strong position, but there's ways to flush that out with enough control. And at some point, you got to push out against garage, IT, electrical room. You've got to make a motion against that. Unfortunately, Adept Club just wasn't able to do so.
And I'm really not seeing enough vertical control, because if the attackers kind of approach it from the low floors, maybe get a buck, open it up, holding around and storage, you get a kind of entry point in command center and IT, even servers for that matter, and
10
you
seconds
have
left before
hatches
insertion.
there. So yes, it's a good defensive position, but that could offer
5 seconds
more
to
options
go.
than just running into this place from like warehouse or like CC stairs.
Attackers'
I
objective
feel
is to locate a
they
bomb
have
and
much
defuse
more
it.
to do here as the attackers. So this was a close round, to say the least, but I'm hoping that they whip out something a bit more flashy.
Yeah, and I think that complacency here will definitely be a big detriment for Team BFTD, as even though they still had that 2% advantage, that retake, there was still a bit of damage there, which could be potential for Adept Club to try to take another round, especially if they look to get active and they play this or play better closer on site. That vertical could be a huge relief for them if that were to turn out. But otherwise, if Adept Club overstays their welcome in the adjacent non-site rooms, that could be a lot of damage to where that might not even be necessary. I mean, so far, they don't even have anything really to contest the IT wall. That's now going down, slowly breaking down everything needed to get into IT, which is a big first step, especially when they were trying to take a garage. You see a little bit of aggression from Muchie, pushing out from the door, getting a bit of damage onto Gamer Slayer, holding that prone. That goes out. That's going to be Duskin able to take Nihilus. We were kind of talking about that vertical, and it's already playing into the favor of Adept Club, holding those positions below.
Bomb
able to
located by
catch
attackers.
one from below, and that's actually going to be huge utility sink, which is Nihilus on the floor. It's now not available. You're not going to be able to use those drones to try to destroy on-site facility, which means a lot of what Adept Club is bringing to the table will still be available, but still have Lenart and Suko on Ash and Twitch for utility destruction. But a minute and 25 seconds, one player down, gotta get a move on.
Get a move on indeed. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining, and I really like the composure of that club right now. They are getting the pick off they need, and just like that, Gamer Slayer X, whatever that name is, the person goes down, and every single person kind of falling apart after that. Yes, you get a trade on Duskin, but that's not necessarily going to help in any position. You're still trying to make your way inside the site. You're worried about someone downstairs, something upstairs, and the Maverick, he is lurking around the corner. There's no clear entry point, which he has not broken enough mirror walls to make a much more comfortable entry, especially into servers. And that C4 almost clipped him, and that could have been the end of that push, but it's not. Right now, more and more players coming out. Twitch trying to get something done. The pancake going down. Azami, he has to throw one more on the pan and hope for the best, but it's maybe not going to work that well. It's going to be Melusi and Mira holding. Finally, the Mira shield gets bonked, but the Mira is going to bonk someone else, and just like that, 3 kills in a row. Adept Club taken back 1-1. God damn it. Piercing. That was surprisingly fast in the end, I feel.
No, it absolutely was. Team BFTD was really running out of options there, and they just were kind of really spread out there. Multiple fronts, none of them getting the progress that they were looking for, and just kind of overstaying their welcome just a little bit too much, running into these various utilities, such as the Melusis, the motion sensors, your Valkyrie cams. It was just a lot of information that was going out to Adept Club and giving them a variety of
Defenders,
options
protect
to
your bombs
close
from being
out each
defused by
front,
attackers.
and each front they did successfully shut out, allowing them to secure that first round. It's kind of a twist, but I am still kind of confused how, despite all of the different options to dismantle the utility, you know, you had Suko on Twitch, you had Lenart, I forget what operator he was on, and then you had Nihilus on
Ash.
Force. Oh, Ash. It was Ash. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You had so much for utility destruction, but still, they ran into so much. This is kind of a pattern that we've seen in the last game with Adept
10
Club
seconds
versus
left before
Exported. It
insertion.
was just insufficient utility use. And now Adept Club continually
5 seconds
making,
remaining.
or I'm sorry, Team BFT is making the same mistake as Ex-Mortis
Attackers
did, in the
objective
sense
is to
of
locate-
not really investing the utility that you're bringing and giving it its intended purpose. This isn't the same game that it was, you know, a year ago where it was just swing and win. We're kind of getting out of that, but it seems like they don't care. No, that's a little gutsy. Lenart gonna take a bit of damage there.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Not gonna be able to finish the job here. But to finish up the thought, it just doesn't seem like they're putting their utility to their best strength here as they potentially could have. And that, I think, is kind of limiting the potential for them here if they want to be able to secure more rounds.
Yeah. And especially like this Nook pickup. I love Nook on Night Haven. Like, it's absolutely one of those operators that is unconventional, but it just works on a maps like Night Haven. And works on Emerald Plains. It's a crazy operator to play. But as you said, the utility seems to be lacking every single time BFPD tries to do something. This Glass, he needs to be shooting a bit of ducks. There's no ducks to hunt here, and no buckshot to be had. And every single thing that he seems to be trying, no matter how many breachers you have, this Maverick is making all the holes that he needs, but you just are just not getting any luck here. Every single person's waiting for one pick off and enter into the side. It's not necessarily going to work. And Nook is going to go down in a corner. Your roamer's going down off map. It's not necessarily giving you more information or less, and it's just more or less, stalemating the game further. Suko, he does get a trade on that, but what have you achieved when it comes to control? I have to, okay, finally, some vertical control attempt, and just like that walks in. You were talking about running, gunning, everyone's running, gunning here. It is getting fast.
Yeah, 1 for 1 here. There's the Nitro, not going to be able to connect. Still looking to get aggressive onto the window. Can't connect the shot. Booksy gonna be able to get Betsy down. Now with 3v2 and minimal gains in territory from Team BFTD. However, they do have the vertical now. Player advantage. Picking 5 seconds. Now that goes out right on the dot. Able to hit Game Slayer before setting it off. Now that is what you call a perfectly thrown Nitro. Now down to a 2v2. Both rounded up towards garage side. Have to go for the drop, but Munchie will be able to catch Booksy right as the plan goes down. They do have the smoke, but they know exactly where now this is going to be dropping from if he so chooses that direction. It's not going to give him a lot of options here. We could see a rotate here, but there's not a lot of time for that. Oh, but the motion attack is going to give it away. Waiting for the push down the stairs. Goes with the pre-fire, but the close swing from Damien is going to be too much for Nihilus on that semi. That's going to be another round win for Adept Club.
Damn. At the end of the day, it's Bloodsport. It's glad. I was just talking about this, I think, a game I recently casted. And when it comes to round of 16s, it becomes a gladiatorial endeavor. More or less, you're just trying to shoot the other person before he shoots you. And that's what it boils down to. You know what, utilities, fine, have your fun in the utilities part, but I'm just going to shoot you. I think that works much better. And every single time someone is wide peeking and just walking a long peek, it's not even a jiggle, it's a complete wide peek. It's more or less unexpected because you do not expect the enemy to do something quote unquote so stupid, but it just works.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Necessarily stupid, and Adept Club seem to be showing that very, very well right now.
Hey, unpredictability is what wins you games, and having two players rotating that far out into stairs was able to help cut off, or cut off that last player from Team BFTD. That's kind of where things start to get a little bit rough when it comes to a first floor rotate. Whenever you have to go on different sets of flooring in order to get onto site, especially when a time crunch comes down like that, getting a crossfire on wherever your entry point back onto the site is always going to be a dangerous gambit no matter what you do. And unfortunately him, with that tight crossfire from Adept Club, just proved to be a bit too much here. We're already seeing Adept Club getting a little zesty with the peaks. Here's a repel. He's not ready. No! Duskin to take Lenart. And that's already a player down off the rip. Goodbye, flashes. Goodbye, vertical. That is going to be no more vertical unless Gamer Slayer is able to keep the card for each charge. Another one. Damien taking another. That's going to be Nihilus. But Suko manages to catch Munchie. Still holding down against the now down a player. They lose a roam clear. Oh, in to take Suko as well. This aggression is not doing well for Team BFTD. Adept Club just sweeping them up for a disastrous initial entry. The denial going wondrously for Adept Club. as now we're not even 2 minutes in, hell, even a minute and a half, and we already have a two-player or a player advantage for Adam Club. A lot of utility lost for Team BFTD.
That's what happens when you like don't use your droning enough, you know. You're just not droning enough, and it's like Siege 101. You just gotta go back to the drawing board a bit. It has to be a bit fun, but at the same time, a bit of information goes a long way. No information equals no control. And this seems to be BFTD's MO. Just run and gun, because in the end, if you're wasting time droning, who's gonna waste time shooting? So, I'm thinking right now, maybe the Nomad just, gets a crazy entry frag, opens up the site, hopes for the best, gets a plan down, and maybe has a late game scenario here. It's 1 minute on the clock. I am waiting for something to happen. Okay, droning finally. I like that, better late than never attitude, but Nitro Cell probably going down. No. Speed time, Nomad runs away. There'll be more and more corners. Tight haven.
Oh no, isolated, yikes! Duskin with a Gamer Slayer. That was a very aggressive peek from Duskin yet again. Hang off, not done yet, looks for another, but gets taken down in turn. Booski to take
Attackers
Duskin,
recovered the
now
diffuser.
a 1v2. There's a lot more options on getting onto site here. Let's gotta be able to push through these corridors. Booski looking to try to take this Z-Hall for an opportunity to possibly walk into sight here. 20 seconds to go, gonna have to get a move on, possibly walks into a swing here, and gets caught on the Malusi. Again, you've got to get this utility out. This is where Adept is hitting you hard, as well as the initial entry denial, leading them for another round and even further to be in the lead.
It's extremely difficult to make your way through cafe into maybe hallway, even lounge directly, or even vending. It's so difficult to take that long cut all the time. Maybe you could go like two different ways. Those corners, they proved lethal for them every single round. It seems like the corners are the biggest enemy of the attacking side. And yes,
Attackers need to
Night Haven is
locate and
infamous for
defuse
that.
as many bombs as they can.
There are I want to see more verticality from it. They use it as a last resort. Like, oh shit, we can't get in, so let's use some verticality now. That using it as a second option, I think they're paying for it very dearly. And if they can do it earlier, if they can use the droning to their advantage, maybe get some information on the upper and lower floors, and it just could be more useful. It's verticality. Has to be this game-changing scenario that they're looking for.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you're able to
10
properly
seconds
dismantle
remaining.
the utility matrix that Adept Club is bringing to the table, maybe you would have a better fighting chance. But unfortunately, that just doesn't seem to be the case. And I mean, Malusi has gotten
Attackers'
so
objective
much
is
impact
to
out of
defuse the
Adept
bomb.
Club. But now
Defender
we're
is
seeing
exposed.
even more aggression. What a run out! Oh my gosh, going all the way out. Could you imagine if a Nitro went out for that? That would have been a scary arc. That takes some guts. We've got Duskin on the cab, Munchied on Capcan. I'm not gonna lie, I think Adept Club is getting a little quirky with this competition.
Yeah.
Trying to be a little bit disrespectful to Team BFTD. But I mean, to be
They're
fair,
getting spicy.
they're getting spicy, but they're kind of getting away with it to an extent. But I can't say I'm too surprised here. It looks like they are trying to get that IT wall open. Pretty standard setup. Kind of got a little bit of spooks towards the start of the round, so seeing a little bit of a slower progression towards the Team BFTD. But man, kind of interested to see how this util come out. You think we're gonna see an interrogation? Oh, but we'll see it down first before we get the answer to that question.
That risky play did not necessarily reward Zedley. He is going to go down. Maybe it's just down, maybe picked up later. But PFTD really losing bodies here. Ace, Ash, and Brava
No
all
way.
going down. And that is big. Okay, he got an interrogation. This is more or less BFTD getting, the fish in a battle right
They're
now.
pitched out. Ooh!
This
Pitched
is
out,
ridiculous.
And I think they got another Intero too. They had 2 downs here. Look at them running outside. You can't let a Cav do that to you. I'm sorry, but getting 2 Cav Interos, or potentially 2, that's insane. And you got 2 running out now. Booksy is fighting for his line view right now. Still got one ran out. Got one close to window. Does manage to catch one though. Still two running out. This is just disrespectful. Oh, goes for the bolt. Is she gonna get this? Impact's going out. They are just trying to end this round. Oh no! Dustin gets it too. This is so toxic from Adept Club. They were more professional, quote unquote, when they played against Ex Mortis, and now we get this. Man, I guess it kind of shows who's kind of living rent free in the other team's mind right now for this first half, and it's Adept Club for sure.
And I have to say, it's tempo, it's morale, it's tempo, and this comes for a lot, especially when around. This is BO1.
Attackers need to
You don't
locate
have another
and defuse
chance. You
as
don't
many
have a
bombs
few
as
games
they
to play
can.
off. This is it. You have to switch through defense and attack rounds and hope for the best that you're not making. Okay, you know what? Speaking about hope for the best, Adept Club is really feeling it. They picked up an Oryx right now, and I like an Oryx on Night Haven. It's a great hatch control operator in general, but on Night Haven, I think it's especially lethal. But it just requires some sort of confidence. And you have the lawnmower person on the other side in BFTD, the Ram picked up. Now that lawnmower, I hope there is some verticality control that maybe they attempt. There's a Jackal, there's a Buck. There's a Buck and a
10
Ram.
seconds left
and they're
before
really
insertion.
thinking of using that, I think both sides, just opening up the whole
5
floor.
seconds left.
And maybe, just maybe, having a more easy entry into site.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
BFTD. But you know, Mr. Calisthenics Warrior Oryx, he's going to make his way across every single place. He's probably going to stop every roam in its tracks and just going to distract you and mislead you when it comes to information. So I'm looking forward to a very confusing yet endearing and entertaining game.
Oh no, absolutely. Oryx is kind of infamous for how he can stall the time out and win. Already taken one, a very quick refrag following up. This is the kind of aggression that I love to see from both of these teams. Taking fights very early on. Punching, looking to take another. Knows the buck from the shotgun, gives away the position. Drone going out. Can't secure the pick though, but still has the down maintained though. And now, Team TD's got a question answer. Do they weave around this roam, try to go for a res, or do they accept the fact that they've just lost players? So far, this roam causing a lot of trouble for Team BFTD, as you correctly identified, and so far, still continuing to be a straining point for them before they can get the verticality. They do manage to get the res, though, so they are even as far as man count goes. Still very low HP. That's gonna make things different. So starting the verticality on the second floor before they even get onto site. 1 in 30 seconds. I would say the Rome's already won this, but depends on if they play this too aggressively here. Because if they lose another, no way. They just misdrawn him. Oh, this could be disastrous. I don't think they know Duskin's still here, inches away from him. That could be devastating if the time goes out against them. Zetsi, oh, there it is. Duskin taking one as well as Zetsi. That's going to be 2 down. Now Lamart, Booksy, the last 2 remaining. Diffuser not in hand. They haven't even made it the first floor. Lenart to take one. Duskin another. Still holding from second floor. And another as Adept Club smashes them out. Not even giving them so much of a chance to do vertical on the basement.
Woo! That is spicy to say the least. I did not see enough lawnmower usage from the Ram. I think that was sorely missing. And I don't know what the hell was happening most of the time. It was just confusion everywhere. Oryx is giving them the complete red herring chase. And I can't believe how effective it was. Duskin just showcasing this operator to its max extent, I feel. It's not just about jumping through hatches, guys. Remember,
Attackers
it's
need to
about
locate
Oryx
and defuse
just being more
bombs.
and more confusing because he just jumps through floors. You think you've droned him, but you really haven't. He just jumps. He's away.
Attackers have
You have
located a
nothing to
bomb.
do. Every single time you try to corner him, he will backstab you. And remember, the rest of his team is still alive, and they are all full of roamers. And that is something Adept Club has been maintaining for most of their defense round, that they have multiple roamers that are more or less assisting in misinformation. And I feel assisting in misinformation when you're on the defense round is more of an advantage than just playing aggressive and looking for
10
pickups.
seconds left.
And Adept seem to be adapting that playstyle onto their attacking.
5 seconds left.
I Lion, Thermite, and Demos. Okay, I like Demos in general, very strong,
Attackers
but
are
Ash,
moving to
Thermite, and
defuse the
Lion
bomb.
They're looking for that, that ironclad, maybe just piercing formation approach. Just jump through, kill. Team BFTD, they're probably very beaten down right now morally, and they're feeling kind of down. And what's more enticing than beating a dead horse? So that's exactly what seems to be on Adept Club's mind.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely a devastating situation, especially being 1 and 5. That's a really harsh situation to recover from. But that's kind of what Adam Club does so well, is that timing, right? You have that comp, right? Trying to keep themselves hidden just in time to be able to get their damage out. And this is what they have been doing so very well. Potentially could be doing that same thing yet again. You know where Damos is, by the stairs, holds by the grenade, tries to throw Nitro, not able to connect, but holds the fire, able to take Zetsi down. That will be Damos off the board, but now before Munchie will be able to sustain a very quick refrag here. They do have basement cleared out, starting to get a bit more control as they inch towards onto site. So far, not too much pressure outside of Ash directly onto site. They still have that hold onto the electrical room, but 1 minute 42 seconds. Most operators falling back. Doesn't seem like the roam is done. What they're looking for here, Nade not gonna be able to catch anyone. No damage there. 1 minute 30 seconds so far. Alliance Hand coming in. We could potentially see an execute soon. We're gonna see that walk in coming in from Duskin. Does have that full control. Left 3 to Lennar. He does get taken out. Oh no, not the thorns. Usually doesn't even down anyone, but this time he does manage to catch one. Going to take game Slayer, Duskin and boost keys as well. This is looking very well as far as the execute. They've got their opportunity, and Duskin gonna take it to go for a knife. Oh, and now we're at match point. This is brutal.
This is playing with the food. It's just they're playing with their food at this point. The Depth Club, they had their number. That Demos, I feel the information that Demos provided was more valuable than any kill he would have possibly gotten. I feel if you have eyes on the Valk, you have eyes on more than half of the team, because the Valk is always in positions which are kind of leading towards the rest of the team, but a bit away, like the first vanguard to go through, and you reach the rest of the team. So usually Valks do not completely
Defenders,
counter
protect
roam
your
and like
bombs
in the
from being
opposite
defused
direction
by
to throw
attackers.
people off. They roam next to their team. So killing a Valk usually gives you more information than you already bargained for. Killed a Valk, got more info, and just shot everybody on the way. And obviously, I'm not saying that Team BFTD did any favors to themselves, because they just ran into fire most of the times.
Bomb located
There
by
is
attackers.
next to no threatening, no crossfires. It's more and more haywire the more I see this. And Adept Club seem to be too composed for this thing to happen, even slightly be an advantage of BFTD.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, no, it's been a very rough situation. I mean, we
5
have
seconds
seen
remaining.
a bit of setups, pretty standard though.
Attacker's
I mean,
objective is
they
to
do
defuse a bomb.
manage to hold off the Death Club initially, but man, it's the execute, and this is what Adam Club shines, is on that echo, is on their executions. This is where they come out strong, and very strong indeed they have been. And what a way to finish it off potentially if Team BFT doesn't shut this out. I think we're going to witness a rush here. Look at the composition. We got Lions, we got Yang, and Blitz. Oh, this is going to be potentially ugly. However, you got multiple players stacked towards the balcony. Here we go. Blitz pushing towards Rafters. A little bit of damage going out. And we're going to see Lions now go down. Still mounting pressure. Nitro goes out. Does manage to survive it, though. Right after Nitro sustains massive damage, though. Still, the utility just going out. Yang gonna be able to secure a plant here. Looks like this rush could have potentially succeeded.
Attackers are
As right
activating the
now,
bomb
the players are
diffuser.
dropping like flies from TBFTD. Damien being able to take 2 here. It's now a 1v3, and Munchie will finish Game Slayer off. Stuck in a rock in a hard place, down towards the back server, and that is going to be a devastating loss for actually a very strong win for Adept Club, and a rough start for the other team, unfortunately. What a blistering success for Adept Club. Nowhere near as close as what we saw for their first game.
And I have to say, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just Adept Club is obviously and evidently the better team. Nighthaven requires quite a lot of, I'll say it's called game sense necessarily. Nighthaven is very, very uh it
It's a bigger
contests
map.
your game sense a lot. Yeah, it makes you really challenge yourself when you're playing this map. It's not a straightforward one. You don't have go-to strategies to like just dismantle the other team. So you, most of the time, you're going to be like headless chicken if you are thinking to play it traditionally. You have to really pull out something that is adaptable. You did not adapt to Adept Club. It's always seemed like Adept Club, no matter what they play on defense or offense, they are playing in this very structured formation, yet completely unpredictable for the other team. Or rather, I'll say that even if they were predicted, they just seem to make better decisions than the other team. And that, in the end, is what makes you prevail, because it's not shooting, it's better tactics. And that's the game, more or less.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. And when we look at it fundamentally, from what we saw, Adept Club never was really quite stationary. They were always able to slip through the cracks and constantly able to hide under the blind spots of Team BFTD. And I think that's another part that was kind of overlooked was the intel matrix. You had a lot of gaps in information that kind of really hit Team BFTD where it hurts. Meanwhile, Adept Club always seemed to just have an edge on their information, where the flow of the fight was going, and able to position themselves in such a way to kind of clamp down once the timing was just right. We saw that multiple times when they were on the defense. We even saw a little bit of that on their attack as well, playing it very patiently, just waiting for that tick, that change in pace, right, to push through those chokeholds. And that's what
Yeah.
really set them apart in winning that out in style, really. But we're not done here yet, folks. We got more matches coming up, and that next game is going to be Vicious versus Chaos, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have more information on our next matchup for you in just a second. But with that being said, we'll be right back.
shadows from my soul as these walls begin to fall. Head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Your labyrinth.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. Up next for our matchup in the open qualifiers, we have Vicious versus Chaos. This is two brand new teams that we have not seen yet for today. So That is our upcoming matchup. How are we feeling? We got 2 different teams this time around, Necros.
Oh yes, finally, two different teams, and hopefully not a complete ownage scenario this time. I'm hoping for a more evenly matched game. I'm not necessarily thinking that it's going to be like super high level, but I think maybe some good decisions. Like if it's super imbalanced, if one team is making like great decisions, the other is completely going awry, it becomes a bit of a downer. So I hope it's not that. I hope Night Haven produces the kind of games I expect it to produce. So, I mean, here's hoping. What are you looking out for right now, especially?
I'm kind of hoping that we don't play the main 3 maps, but I'm also kind of looking for a maybe just a slower pace. It got a little too aggressive for my taste at some points, just a little bit more setup, just a little bit more kind of util destruction, a bit more Twitch and Brava. Again,
Mhm.
simp for those ops. They're wonderful. I've kind of spoken my piece on that. But with that being said, let's take a look at the teams that we've got for this upcoming matchup. First up, it's going to be Vicious Esport Main. And for them, we've got Hoshi, Flex, Critorum, Tam, Tim, Noisy, Murky, AV. And with a average win rate of 40%, their best map is on Cafe and their worst on Chalet. For our second team, we have Chaotic. Their roster is going to be Key B, Libano, Atuka, Janitsky, Steg, E-Star, and Total Pine with their total win rate of 0%. We might not have any information on there, or they haven't won one yet. That's to be seen. Their best map on Chalet and their worst on Night Haven Labs, which unfortunately for Chaotic, that's quite tragic as we are going back to Night Haven Labs. Oh boy, that's a start. We kind of talked about having a closer matchup. I hate to say it, I think we might be in for a rude awakening. 0% win rate, worst map, Night Haven Labs, and we're playing Night Haven Labs. Oh boy.
It's almost like it writes itself. It's like irony, but on the levels of it's ironically ironic. And I think
Yeah.
it should be fun. And at the same time, while having said this, you know what would be more ironic? That somehow they get the spirit of God inside them and they just play the hell out of this game and they give the team that has a higher win rate a run for their money. I mean, it's super unlikely to happen, but you never know.
You never know. And Siege is one of those games where you call one thing and then by the sheer grace of God, the exact opposite happens. Welcome to Rainbow Six Siege, everybody. Glad to be here with you. But with that being said, I just dropped something and almost hit my power button. That's terrifying. Anywho, first ban going to be going out to Ram. Yeah, I almost hit the power button on my PC. That was terrifying there. But yeah, I mean, not a very common ban, but definitely a reasonable one. Ram is very strong on verticality and can be particularly dangerous on Night Haven Labs. So there we go. That is off the table. Monty, standard ban from Chaotic. Second ban, that is going to be Mira. Still, again, nothing too crazy. What are our thoughts on this ban so far, and what are we thinking for this last ban?
I love the lawnmower ban. I expected a lot from the lawnmower last game. Did not happen as much. Okay, Valkyrie, absolutely valid here. I feel this operator on maps like Clubhouse or even like Chalet, just the information that this operator provides and the free roaming potential. And remember, it has that nitro cell with him, so it always has that potential to get that flank kill, just open things up, kind of put the attackers in disarray. So good ban at that. But Monty, it's an obvious ban. Ram, not that obvious, but I'm not surprised. As you said, it just offers so much verticality. But I've yet to see someone
need to
using
locate
the
and defuse
lawnmower
as many
properly.
bombs as they
No
can.
one's telling people to get off their lawn. And it just offers more and more options for the defensive team to just have the time of their lives.
No, I absolutely agree. And as far as the bans are concerned, I would definitely argue that this is a more defender-leaning ban. And here's why I kind of say that. One of the things that is dangerous about playing verticality on this map is that because of its extremely segmented nature, it is really, really
Attackers have located a
difficult
bomb.
to lock up a floor as far as intel
10
matrix
seconds
and
left
utilities
before
such
insertion.
as nomads and gridlocks. You have to invest in
5
isolating
seconds remaining.
segments, and even that takes a lot of investment. You either run the risk
Attacker's
at some
objective
point,
is to
you're going to
defuse
have
the bomb.
someone flanking you, or you take a massive util investment in order to keep things stable. And the fact that you're getting rid of RAM, which means that you have to invest even more time when you don't have your gun up in getting vertical set up, as well as the fact you have Monty banned, which is huge for creating much needed space, makes me argue that this is more defender-sided. But we are seeing a rather fast initial entry, thanks in no part to Natu alone, already by office space right next to electrical room. So I think Chaotic could potentially be trying to go for a very fast take here. I mean, they already have a lot of first floor control. Vicious Esports hasn't really contested much of this so far. Not even so much as contact or visibility. No one's really seen anyone
The
at
attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
I'm just so surprised they made their way in so fast, and no kills as of yet, which is also equally surprising. I think there's like a couple of
Attackers
feet away
recover
from
the
each other,
diffuser.
but they're really not attempting anything. A couple of drones go down here and there, but nothing more than that. The Legion throwing down more and more mines, hoping that someone steps on them, hoping some information comes his way, but there is literally no verticality right now. No one's poking any holes. No one is even attempting any. Okay, there's one hole here. So that's potentially something. But
See a little bit of contact starting to be up from or across first floor. But I mean, other than Vicious Esports with a few players above, there's really no verticality. 3 shots going out to Tim, minimal damage here, starting to try to put some pressure on the site presence. But I mean, look at
Attackers
how
dropped the diffuser.
kind of or spread out this composition is. You got 2 above, and then you really don't have anyone other than Kushi that's even on site right now. So I mean, for how spread out they are, there's been basically no contact. However, we are starting to see that Thermite trying to get that wall open. It's going to be too late. Murky trying to trick. Unsuccessful. Will be able to get that wall open. It does look like Captain's now trying to put the pressure on to get rid of these 2 vertical players. Seems like they've identified where the presence is and are trying to meet them at it. But it might come a little bit too late.
Attackers have
Only
recovered their
40 seconds
diffuser.
remaining, and they still haven't really made their way on site. Key struggling quite a lot, trying to take that vertical, takes a lot of damage. However, we see the initial entry, 2 going down. However, Pucci taking a double, Chaotic on the entry, flailing in spectacular fashion, a very rapid pace destruction as they can't really establish any space out from Vicious Esports.
okay, that really took a turn. I mean, I thought with that amount of patience they were going somewhere with it, but I guess it was all for nothing because you just held up like a whole line of frags for the first person to mow you down, and yeah, it just all kind of fizzled.
Attackers need to
I
locate
hope
and
that's
defuse
not
bomb.
like general MO of Chaotic. They are, I mean, remember, Vicious Esports have that 0% win rate. So to get more down like that in one single sweep, not expected to say the least.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, it just really comes down to what was Chaotic's plan there? I mean, all of that time, right? They had so much space from the very start.
10 seconds
But they
remaining.
did absolutely nothing. It just kind of seemed like they were mostly just kind of running
5
around,
seconds to go.
trying to figure out, okay, well, what do we do next? And then they just kind of
Attackers
settled
must
on
locate
going
and
for a
defuse the
split
bomb.
push. But again, there wasn't really any plan of action, and they just kind of funneled with no real way to differentiate or clear any pressure. They just all fell one by one in rapid succession. That's not a recipe for success. There's no way that you're down to less than a minute and you have made no serious contact. That is never a good thing when it comes to attacking. So I'm not really sure what the approach is from Chaotic, but that kind of major time inefficiency is a definitive losing strategy. That does look like they're trying to speed up the pace. They already have the heavy calls, go right up to Murky, and they do manage to catch tie-in. still murky. Holding out by back extension. Kind of stuck in a corner in a hard place. Had a way out, but doesn't take it. As Atuka manages to secure Murky. That's going to be 2 people out for a failed initial entry denial from Vicious Esports. They were playing pretty safe last round, but I guess they're kind of feeling themselves here, and they paid the price for it quite severely. Oh, perfect lineup onto time, but couldn't secure the pick there. That still is dangerous, you know, putting up alone against that many players. That's not asking for success, but we do see a full fallback as now Vicious Esports is fully back on the site. Chaotic has the whole floor set up. Atuka goes out, deals massive damage onto Atuka, but manages to back just enough to keep herself alive. And with the finger heals, unfortunately, that nitro means it doesn't quite have the impact they're looking for. Smoke's starting to go out, looking to catch another on the vertical. Still 3 players up, but with such little damage onto Chaotic so far, there's still a lot of work to be done, especially with no nitro remaining.
It seems to be finally Chaotic is pulling the trigger, and it was a long time coming, yes, and obviously Vicious Esports did not really help themselves in that situation, kind of throwing their bodies, just getting out-peaked, just like that. And that look at that vertical control right here, and every single person, like, they're just scurrying like rats here. They're hoping for the best. Someone's moving
Bomb
through the
located by
smoke.
attackers.
They don't care. They're just really pushing really hard. Fine, a lot of blood on the screen, but oh, he gets it. That's a smoke kill to finish it off. But yeah, that was a good shot, to say the least. Smoke having the awareness to really check the corners, hoping for the entries to not be entries. Everyone just gets just dropped. That's instant. Everyone just moves in. That's a very methodic move in by
15 seconds
Chaotic. And you
left.
just jump in, kill a couple of people, and this is now a 1 versus
10
3
seconds to
scenario.
go.
And just poor
Attackers
Smoke
activated.
8 seconds. Diffusers planted. 42 seconds. Now, Smoke, rock and a hard place for him. Like an unwinnable situation from here, Pierce.
No, this is looking really tough here. Drop finally came down, and it just ended up being too much to bear for Vicious Esports. And there it is. John finished the job out onto Bushi. I mean, they were kind of holding it back, but then they just kind of lost that flow once the push actually started from Chaotic. They were repelling pretty well, and they were relatively unfazed by the vertical, but they just could not hold them back from the actual executed itself. It was just a very weak execute denial, which is what they looked like they were going for, especially having that smoke on the board. So, I mean, but yeah, we got to talk about
Defenders,
that
protect your bombs from being
disastrous
defused by
initial
attackers.
entry denial, right? They had basically no roam presence first round, but when they tried it, man, did that not go well, which makes sense when you think about it. Chaotic has been was playing it really slow on that first round, not really overextending as much at all. We saw the same thing. Once Vicious Esports crossing the Chaotic territory that they were trying to establish, it just resulted in disaster. Chaotic just has a really good way
10 seconds left.
of setting themselves up to cross and flush out
5
defenders,
seconds to
and Vicious
insertion.
Esports clearly wasn't ready for that, leading to the immediate 2-player
Attackers are
disadvantage
moving
that
out
we
to locate a
witnessed.
bomb and defuse it.
Now the question is, do they continue to hunker down and play it slow, or do they keep up an extended roam and try to adapt to the tempo that Chaotic has established from the last round?
I wouldn't go as far as to say really Chaotic has established a tempo. The way they slipped in the first round means that they can just as easily drop the ball. So I'm hoping that you're right. I'm hoping that Chaotic has set a pace for this game. But for the 2 rounds we have seen, I think unpredictability is still the name of the game. It's just completely dependent on many stupid mistakes that one could potentially make, and that depends on what kind of operators you have and what kind of situations it forces you in. I love the lineup from Chaotic. It's Dokebi, the Buck, there's a Flores, there's a Finka to back it all up. On paper it looks good, but if that Dokebi just gets shot, that's going to throw everything down the dumpster. And okay, speaking of the Dokebi, he gets a kill instead of dying, so that's the exact opposite happening. And as far as this goes, if on Vicious Esports they get good enough turtling or even like a good control of the
Attackers
overall
drop the
course,
diffuser.
I think they should
Oh,
be well
no.
off even with 4 versus 5.
Bomb
This
located
is
by attackers.
okay.
Oh, he misses. That's so unfortunate. Almost takes the pick from the drone in the middle of the swap. Oh, there's the nitro. That's going to be Flores now. Off of the board.
Attackers
Diffuser
recovered the
not
bomb
in hand
diffuser.
by the drone hole. No way. Trying to really play around this drone hole. Are you kidding me? Both sides doing the same. Neither able to really catch each other at the right time. Utility going out looking for a very early execute. Shotgun goes out. Can't land the shots. Only down to 8 HP. But that HP is enough to finish it out, as Atuka will be the one to come out on top versus Avi here. It's now 2v4. It's not looking too good here. A lot of presence towards IT and the bout. A lot of presence here. Still much more utility to come. The flash going out. 2 going down. But no, not done yet. Nuh-uh. Manages to take 1. It's now a 1v2. Both at low HP. Time at full HP. There is opportunity to come back here. Fears are going down. Almost planted. Does go off. Does get a little bit of damage on the Nutsu, but not enough to do anything. And Nutsu will be the one to swing out and cut him off from the security side. This is what I'm talking about when I say it's so hard to push out from command center. It's such a big choke point if the diffuser goes down. And that's exactly what happened. They gave up too many numbers towards Garage Balk and towards IT. And quite frankly, it just seems like Vicious Esports didn't really have a plan, or just didn't have the manpower they needed to contest this early execute. And it seemed like they weren't really ready for
Attackers
it
need to
either.
locate and defuse bomb.
And I'm surprised that the warehouse entry was so unchecked. The peaks, they just didn't go the way of Vicious Esports at all. No matter how much information they had, it seems like every single peak they did, it just went the exact opposite way. And plus, the diffuser drop on the drone hole, that was such a big giveaway. You could have really played that position, but I don't know. They couldn't capitalize on it. They could have moved together. I don't know who's IGLing this, but they need to get the whole team on the same line right now, because that's the only way they kind of focus themselves.
10 seconds left before
Because they have to rally behind one single objective. They're kind of getting scatterbrained here. Am I going to get a kill? Am I going to secure the diffuser here? Am I going to do something? Am I going to
Attackers'
peek? Am I
objective
going
is
to
to
do this,
locate a
that?
bomb and defuse it.
100 million options here, and you just get confused. You need an IGL to make the flow of the stream pretty linear. So, as of now, linearity is something which is a rarity for Vicious Esports. Chaotic, they are really exploiting this. They are picking operators that are completely exploitative of bad positions and really scatterbrain calls. Iana, I feel, you know, this operator doesn't make that much of a... It doesn't make that much of an appearance, which is super, like, it's a loaded operator. You're not super confident with Iana. It's a free drone, yes, but sometimes it just becomes dead weight. But they're so confident. Chaotic, they're feeling like nothing can stop them. The past 2 rounds are an indicator of something that
Attackers
has
have dropped the
gone
bomb
terribly wrong with
diffuser.
Vicious.
Attackers have recovered their
Maybe
diffuser.
Chaotic is right. Maybe they have it in the bag.
It's a very real possibility, and the way that they're stacking up has been doing them so much good because of the fundamental weaker ability to repel the net force that Chaotic is bringing to the table. We're seeing just that yet again. This funnel should be an opportunity for Vicious Esports to just lap them all up, but instead, it is becoming a breaking point for them. We're seeing just that. They've already taken adjacent to the server room. They're starting to get electrical, and there's no one even there in electrical. Not even utility invested to try to hold this off. And now 1 minute 35 seconds off, they're already gearing up to take this powerful vertical space. However, goal goes off. It is going to stall some time for a bit, but we are starting to see the fast-paced rotation. However, we will see Pushi manage to take 1. That's going to be key off the table. That's going to be one less hard breach remaining. 1 minute 13 seconds. They are successfully stalling out Chaotic so far, thanks in large part to that Goyo there. 1 minute 5 seconds, and we're starting to see a little bit of a stall as Chaotic looks for their opening. Poppy takes space here. The motion sensor going off. It's going to give away Nutsu's position here. This is going to be a key piece of information, but unfortunately for Murky, he walks right into a trap between Steg and Nutsu. That position all ready to push out Vicious Esports, and they did just that. But
Attackers have located a bomb.
Back as Atuka and John managed to take 2. It's all starting to fall apart. However, the push-up from Avi tries to come back and re-secure vertical, but Stag is having none of it for a double kill onto Avi. And it is looking like Chaotic is far from done in sweeping this first half.
I take it all back. Chaotic seems solid. They have a tempo. They have done everything you said they would do. They have set the pace for this game. And I don't think Vicious, they could change the outcome anytime they want. I feel like obviously it's the defense. You have that advantage, that inert advantage to yourself, but you picked
Attackers
a
need to
basement, you
locate
picked
and
an
defuse
Oryx.
as many bombs as
What are
they
you going to do
can.
with it? Are you going to make that confusion thing? We saw Adept really play it to its complete limit last game. And I'm waiting for something like this to happen. Something, maybe Oryx is a specialty operator that Murky plays like as a last resort. Like, okay, this is an end all operator. And maybe this is the winning grace. Maybe this is something that brings them out of this kind of ditch they have dug themselves in. And I'm wondering, is Oryx the right choice along with these kinds of operators? Everything is a turtler that they have. Everyone's going to stick inside. What
10
Oryx
seconds to
alone
go.
going to do? Because we saw last game Adept really using counter
5 seconds
roamers
left
to
before-
support Oryx by map control. We don't have map control operators
Attackers
right
objective is to
now.
locate a
That
bomb
Oryx
and
could be
defuse it.
well alone by himself.
Yeah, other than time, there's really not a lot to support Murky here on his roam, but I think it's going to be a necessary change, because right now what you're seeing is that Chaotic is just stacking up, playing all together, and getting so much impact out of playing close together. The map control isn't even as big of a deal when they can just all stack up and just be able to push in a very confined space the way they are. And there's just really nothing from Vicious Esports that's properly answering. Now, if Murky is able to weave between their positioning and their stacking and be able to pick it apart, allowing for their turtlers to come back out of their shell and get some damage in, then perhaps it could be a key player. Because keep in mind, this is very hard to pin down due to the myriad of options that he presents. But that all is dependent on their ability to really put the hurt back on Chaotic and put the momentum towards them. But if they can't do that, then I really don't know how much that's going to help, if at all, because it really just comes down to how they can split up Chaotic, and so far they haven't really done that at all. All but John all stacked towards kitchen side, and really not much of pushback against them. Seeing Nutsu facing a lot of damage. Bit of a cross from Vicious Esports and cross from Kushi and Murky, which is a possible opportunity to try to slow down Chaotic, but I don't know how much longer this is going to last. Intel coming out, they know this one. Close to the hole, still stacked. Here it comes. Time, able to take one. Not before the prompt refrag. Nutsu down
Attackers
as well,
dropped the
but not
diffuser.
out. But not in the greatest position. Try to go revive as Time will be able to secure
Attackers
that.
have recovered their
Stacked up with
diffuser.
time. This could be the opportunity for Vicious Esports to start turning this around. The Rome going very well. The Crossfire, even despite the Ying not getting the impact that Chaotic was looking for. But still stacked together, still playing together. There is potential to come back. But that Nitro is going to definitely turn that for the worst.
Attackers
for
recovered the bomb
Chaotic.
diffuser.
Now down
Attackers
to
have located
2
a bomb.
players. It is a 2-to-1 ratio advantage for Vicious Esports, and the clock is ticking. Gonna have to get a move on and push through quite a dangerous funnel here. This could be a huge advantage for Vicious Esports here. Smoke going out, stalling a lot of time. No smokes are remaining. It's just a matter of this smoke going down before they really have to full send it. Here we go. Smoke going down. Start to make a run for it. Gets the cross down. Able to sneak back Hashi, but still a lot to be done here. Try to get a plant going.
5 seconds
5 seconds remaining. Now push through this corridor. It's stuck on the goo mine. Can't really get through it.
Operators have
Time is
run out
gonna
of time.
run out. They can't even get onto site.
That Oryx actually worked. It created enough like delay for them, and I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. The first battle that he had, and the Oryx Murky didn't go down, and I feel that was a big mistake. Chaotic should have finished off that Oryx. That would have stopped a lot of flow of information for them. And that just snowballed and had that butterfly effect into what it became. Right now, it's a 2-3, and Vicious Esports seems to be
Attackers need to
still
locate and
having
defuse bombs.
some sign of life in their almost cops situation. I don't know. Maybe this time, maybe Vicious Esports is looking for something
Attackers
that
have discovered
is
the
already
location of
in
a
their
bomb.
reach, and they have finally achieved it. Maybe Chaotic doesn't know what they're up against. You know, it's always that flip side. You're kind of returning the favor every time, and you're neck to neck in rounds. You don't necessarily know what's gonna happen. No. Okay, so now the plant's different, so I can understand there's no Goyo, but you have picked that. Sorry, not Goyo. The Oryx. You have a
10
Goyo
seconds
this
left
time.
before
You have a
insertion.
Tubarao. Sorry, the Melusi. I'm so sorry.
5
I'm trying to
seconds
get it
remaining.
frazzled right now. I don't know what to think. It's such a static play, and it's surprising because you switched it up completely. You had this novel idea to run that Oryx that way in the last round, and suddenly you're switching back to that very, very passive style, which did not work against Chaotic in the previous rounds, especially against the kind of lineup Chaotic has now. That is with the Ace and the Buck. They have that aggressive move with the Finca. This is the same lineup that they had when they got here. And speaking of, they just got shot, and that Finca got down. Okay, this changes everything. Definitely, I feel.
No, it's definitely a big advantage for Vicious Esports being able to take Finka down this early on. But keep in mind that they still have the Goyo and the Melusi, who both can stall out the time so much. They know that if they run down the time, Chaotic's time management can be on the weaker side, especially when they have roamers down their throats and not going against the grain, because the
Attackers
grain
drop the
is
diffuser.
Chaotic's stack, right? How they all round up and kind of push generally the same front. Once Vicious Esports is able to navigate towards the back end of the attack, that's when problems start to arise. And if they can use time stall as well with Melusi and Goyo, that could be a big opportunity and an opening for them to be able to
Attackers recovered
kind
the
of
bomb
keep
diffuser.
Chaotic in check here. But if they keep dropping numbers like this, that opportunity and potential just slowly breaks down. And right now it's starting to, as we now have Kane and Goyo. That's a Nitro now down. Only one player, Finka, and that was from the very beginning of the round. Not the greatest start for them, especially as they're looking to already start to get some on-site presence here. Some flashes going out. Melusi's, Goyo's not really getting the slowdown and the stall that they were looking for here. Still got one below. Technically a 2v4 on-site. I think Chaotic recognizes that. Crossers put that pressure down. Tries to walk in. Time gonna be able to catch Key there. You can't really push out without the information, but Steg manages to catch AV. It's now a 2v3. Only one on site so far. Next, we'll have to go back on site. Does manage to get in, but gets caught. They know both these players are backed up into a corner. This is an opportunity to possibly go for a plan. Need to clear time here. A little bit of damage goes out. A re-swing. Not going to be able to catch anything. And then another one from Steg. Again, double kill to take Murphy down. And that is going to give them a two-round lead in favor of Chaotic or the swap.
That whiff really caused them. If they had gotten that kill and Murky had the time to just rotate, maybe they could have gotten this round back. But Chaotic, they played this. I mean, they lost that Finca early on, but in the end, you play this lineup versus Chaotic, and as you said, they stack. This lineup doesn't punish the stack; it kind of encourages it. Sitting
Defenders,
ducks
protect your
is
bombs from being
a much
defused
more
by attackers.
forgiving term than what I would use at this point in time. It was like, again, I saw a flashback to like 3 rounds earlier where Vicious Esports was running around like headless chicken, and now they're in the uncomfortable position
Attackers
of
have
attacking into
discovered the
Chaotic.
location of a
And I'm
bomb.
pretty sure that Chaotic, being a solid attacking team, are a much more solid defensive team, as they have shown such good composure and understanding of the map, and especially the plant that they have. So this time, they have a bit. Okay, I like this lineup. They have a bandit and a warden. They have Legion, Mute, and Wamai
10
to just
seconds to
man
insertion.
side. They have a very fairly balanced lineup. I think that's enough, more or less, to counter.
5 seconds to insertion.
I like the Capitao pickup. Potentially, like Murky could really open up
Attackers
the
are heading
chest
in to
and make
defuse
some
the
more
bomb.
things that are unconventionally probably useful. But I don't know past that unless. Like this Blackbird pick really spooks me. Maybe this is like a comfort pick. Maybe Taim really prefers a Blackbird, but I don't know about this. Really.
Yeah, I'm not really 100% sure. It just kind of depends on how Vicious Esports likes to play this. But we know that when they go against the grain of chaotic, they tend to lose it out. So the problem is trying to go around that fact. I think that could be what they're trying to go for with tie-in on the Blackbeard, really operator, or Capitao with Murky. They could be trying to circumvent those challenges by allowing a buffer zone for them to do what they need to do without having to go directly against the grain here. And that could potentially provide them an opportunity for a plant. But if they're getting stuck like this, you might have to watch out for a nitro from below. Thanks to Key B taking out your Capitao. That's going to be a lot of buffer space now off the table on your first round of attack. Not a good start, but she does manage to catch Nut. That will be a little bit of an overextension from Chaotic. One player down, but we're seeing a significant slowdown after getting or trying to contest electrical. No major push-up quite yet. We do see the hop in. That will be coming from Tyem. Steg catch time. Playing from electrical. No major progress still. Player from below. JB still trying to get a little bit of damage out. Push out finally happening. Shield broken. Pushy to take another. That's going to be Atuka. Now 3 and 3. Still no major side progress. The numbers are dwindling. The time is dwindling. But no clear advantage yet as they're still looking to get a setup here. They do have a cross going between electrical and IT. This is the opportunity to finally get an XQ going. But Key again with a double kill, slowing down this progress. Now that crossfire is not as strong without a refrag. 43 seconds. Now going to have to find some way to get an opening pick. A Chaotic is just not giving them anything. Playing this so safe, and Vicious needs one to overstep. They just can't find one. But no nades on the board. 3 flashes that are on the board. Still an opportunity to open things up. Meantime, these flashes crackle. Flashes finally going out. Looking to create opening. Oh, but Keep it does manage to catch Pushy. I am spotting out Steg, but now he's got the rocket hard play. Between a crossfire, manages to take a little bit of damage, but still alive.
5 seconds left.
That fight in the hole. Pulls out the pistol, tries to find the pillar player, but he's gonna come out at just the right time, and that'll be Sean to close it out. Now with a 3-round lead. Time is running out for Vicious Esports. They need to get it together. Possibly time for a timeout, if you ask me.
I think it should be. I think that IGL really needs to say some choice words right now. Try to get them back into shape because they're 2 rounds away from getting out of this game, and it's going to be a very painful loss. They played well in the couple of rounds that they have won. They have shown that they have the potential to do something that, well, the other team doesn't expect.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as
that
many bombs
Blackbeard
as they
pick,
can.
that completely weird entry into the site, I don't know. This is not the way to play the game. To take unfavorable trades and still hope for the best and hope that you replace the shield again and again, and it's like the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing again and again and expect things to change. Yeah, that Blackbeard seemed like a revision of insanity, more or less, and I feel kind of lost because they've picked it again. They really trust it. I don't know why they trust it so much. They have picked like a Dokebi with it, so I think it should be some help. But now
5
they have a Fenrir, they have a Pulse. God, it's like Chaotic is not even trying to actively counter them, but they are countering every single thing that Blackbeard just suffers here. I don't know any scenario in which Blackbeard is going to have a good time.
No, absolutely not. When you have Fenrir on the board, that extremely limits Blackbeard's potential. Just keep in mind, he's got a movement speed penalty, and I don't think. Oh wow. Okay. Lost one of the drum blocks by mistake. But back to what I was saying, when you have limited or reduced movement speed, and you have somebody like Fenrir, it puts you in a particularly vulnerable position. Was that intentional? I don't know. But could that possibly be a problem that mitigates Tyem's potential as Blackbeard even further? Very, very likely. You've got 2 above, Atuka and Steg, both holding the vertical position. directly above sight. You do have a full front from Vicious Esports to commit to the vertical, but right now they're currently pushing against the grain, and it's not looking too good right now. But as Atuka takes out Poshi, that's going to be the Cabby. They don't really have Chaotic pinned down here. Both Atuka and Stag are still holding out comfortably. They need someone to push the screen, and there's no screen. Look at how much movement they have right now. That can't be allowed, and this is where they're getting really badly hurt. They still haven't really established that space. Natu now doubling up the pressure with Pulse to Nitro out Mucky. This is looking, or really murky, I guess you could say. But either way, that's 2 players down. Vertical still not established. Only 60 HP of damage done to Atuka, who has just taken time as well. But Tyem manages to catch Steg. That's 1 Roamer down. But keep in mind, we're now 1 minute and 5 seconds. You have lost the time efficiency game. You are down 2 players. This is
Attackers
a
have located
very
a bomb.
desperate situation, as Chaotic has had all the space in the world to do their magic, and magic we just witnessed, folks. A lot of damage down to Vicious Esports, as now they're going to be forced to work in very suboptimal positions as they try to transition down to the first floor.
I don't know. Like, they lost the Dokebi to start with, and now they'll okay. The Tyem gets a double kill. Opening up is a possibility. It's not a complete loss right now. They may get the opening again, and okay, a good triple. This could be more. Okay, Tyem looking. He's on fire right now. He knows there's someone around the corner. He's gonna wait. He's gonna take a couple of shots. The tracers go, but no time. That reign of terror is gonna end, and that is gonna be the end of everything. Atuka getting Avi in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that was looking so much better towards the very end. I mean, a lot of crucial picks. I see why Tyem goes Blackbeard if he can get some damage like that. But unfortunately, it just wasn't really enough to stop the fundamental fact that they just are going against the grain. And you can only win so much until that starts to hurt again. And that's exactly what we saw there. There's not a lot of actual legitimate pressure on Chaotic.
Attackers
Sure,
need to
you might have
locate and
some
defuse as many
phantom
bombs as
pressure,
they can.
but it's not really biting them down. This, again, let's talk about 19 Labs in general. This is a map that is very segmented, and there is a lot of segmented rooms per floor. It is very difficult to pinch someone out naturally, as there are many, many means of escape. So, what do? You surround them, you wrap around, right? You pinch them down with utilities such as Nomad, or
10
Gridlock,
seconds left before
or
insertion.
Grim with the bees, right? And the fundamental problem here
5
is that
seconds to go.
Chaotic has way too much space to work with. And
Attackers' objective
what
is
do
to
they
locate
do
a bomb
when
and
they
defuse
have
it.
space? They stack up and they start pouncing. They go against the grain. They go where there is the most action, the most pressure, the most forces, knowing that they have full flexibility to fall back, and they take full advantage of it. And this is where Vicious Esports needs to come together and learn or figure out how they are going to entrap Chaotic. Or because if they don't, well, that's game.
Yeah, and this is going to be extremely difficult. Because yet again, they have a Kaid, they have a Bandit, they have a Capcan this time on, and a Fenrir. I don't know what Gridlock is going to do for you that Blackbeard didn't do. And suddenly, like, the only winning grace I feel is the Dokaibi. That if they have a good enough insert in the side, they may get some map control because of the Dokaibi. But I am really doubtful as to how they What?
What?
Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
Got a little too
That
close
was a
to
bit of a
Nitro,
blunder,
didn't ya?
wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a little bit of an advantage for Vicious Esports, getting an accident. It's okay, Atuka, we forgive you. You put on a good showing thus far, but the fight's not done either way. That's 1 player down, that's the Capcan. They do have the warehouse space now, which is going to allow them to get some verticality, create an opening to possibly drop down, and that could be some good space. And they had a player down by the hall. Where is he? That's going to be Steg. He'll be holding not too far away from warehouse. all the way by the basement stairs. Could possibly look to catch one here. Does end up rotating back. So most of Chaotic is now hunkered down over by basement. This is the most opportunity that Vicious Esports has had. It could be potential to come back here. Nitro going out only or bringing it down to 10 HP, but folks is still alive here. Not going to be able to get down. No kill off of that. But now it's a matter of what this vertical is going to do for them. They have to make their way down eventually, and with 48 seconds, they have to get a move on. We've got a key now in position towards stairs to possibly try to recontest this vertical, but hasn't chosen to do so, as right now time is running out and we're still waiting on that wall breach for AV. It does finally come out, but it's potentially be a little bit too late. 30 seconds remaining. They're gonna have to clear this base space out. They want to go for the plant, but with Nutsu and John both going for that walk-in could be a huge problem. Now the execute starting. Watch.
15 seconds to go.
Does get the full blind. Hasn't been able to flush him out. Goes for the peak. Gets spotted
10
out.
seconds
Time
left.
catch Stag. 10 seconds remaining. And
Drop the bomb.
still has to walk past breach.
Oh,
The
they
Fuzz
got
is
the
trapped.
Fuzer!
Now a 4v2, but it doesn't matter. They don't have the
Attackers will
fuse.
come to
They're
the
gonna have to
bomb.
take the two players down. Nutsu and John, we're gonna be holding out, but Time will be able to run in and go for the play at the
Operators, you are
last
out
second,
of
but
time.
it will be denied by Nutsu for them to win it out and deny any kind of a comeback here. So close. Plenty of smoke, but no cigar.
Oh, cigar. That was something else, wasn't it? It was almost like people are shooting, hoping for the best, but then you just drop the diffuser, and there go your hopes. Everything just goes down the drain. And that
Yeah,
seems to be going down the drain.
Oh yeah, no, it really did. It was so close, but again, having that diffuser sitting out there, and there just wasn't the proper support, right? You had players pushing down main stairs. You had a lot of pushback coming from there, although they were clearing that space. But here's the problem: they had no cover for diffuser, who was sitting outside breach the entire time, waiting for the wall to get open. You need to have some kind of backup there. You need to have some kind of smoke, something to isolate and protect yourself. But there was just nothing. And that ended up just being a critical mistake. They banked heavily on that vertical being and getting more impact out of it. And it never came. The cavalry never came. And unfortunately, Thermite was all alone to drop the diffuser and solidify the doom for Vicious Esports, unfortunately. But with that being said, we're not done yet. We've got one last game coming up that we will be covering tonight. But I do want your final thoughts before we go on a quick break. Necris, what did you think of that match?
I think Vicious should take the good things of this game. I mean, they did some good plays here. I'm not talking about the Blackbeard. I'm talking about like some things that are like, I saw in the start of the game that kind of threw the other team off. They have that potential in them. Maybe their IGL was maybe not there yet. They're not there as a team yet. But there are there are some places that they're exceptionally good. Like they could possibly adapt. They have a way to capitalize bad situations. It's not always a doom sense, like okay fine, there is no way we win. There were times like it was super close, and it was purely super close because they played well, not because the other team played badly, which is many times the case. So this time I have to say that while this is a very disheartening loss, Vicious Esports should go back to the drawing board and maybe hash some things out that they haven't thought about earlier. And Chaotic, they could beat them. I think if you don't waste rounds on Blackbeard, if you help your Dokebi kind of get some space, kind of get a couple of cams out, you have to support that operator to really activate it. You have to nurture it, water it into a beautiful tree that it'll eventually grow into the round. But it just didn't happen. So start prioritizing some operators and start deprioritizing some. Yes, the Blackbeard may be your comfort operator, but not necessarily the winner of the game, even if it proved to have like triple kills. But that is, I think, inconsequential, more or less. So yeah, I think that's how I sum it up.
I can agree with that. But with that being said, folks, we're going to go right on break and move on to our last match for tonight. Stay tuned, folks. We're not done quite yet. We'll be right back.
Faint lights in the distance, the thin line that separates your shadows from my soul. As these walls begin to fold, head lost in the silence, cold stars illuminate the secrets on your tongue and the poison in my lungs. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth. Blind eyes in the darkness, frail hands reaching out, sword echoes in the smoke as the doors behind me close. No cure for the madness, each turn tangled in the fear of losing sight of the slowly fading light. Where every passage ends, a new road begins. The further I descend, your labyrinth.
All right, and we are back, folks, for our last matchup for tonight and for the first round of qualifiers. We've seen both of these teams, and they are back at it again. We've got Adept Club versus Chaotic. We've kind of seen a little bit of what both of these teams have to offer, a little bit more towards Adept Club. Adept Club being very strong in their executions, and Chaotic, they seem to have a very strong or surprising way to always go against the grain and still be a pain. So, with that being said, you ready to go? This is the last one for tonight.
Let's go.
You thinking this is going to be a closer match than that, Chris? Or do you think this is going to be kind of a blowout? What do you think?
Well, I certainly hope so, because I've been waiting for a close match for like what? For the rest of the round of 16, and now it's a round of 1. We're down to the very last one. It's the grand finals, and Adept Club, they showed us quite a showing. They've been like more or less undefeated, just like punching through every single thing that came in between them. And yeah, I'm hoping for a Monty ban, which is, if anything, very predictable, but of course very expected. Both those teams do not want the other team to have it, because I think in the hands of a very capable team, it's a big problem. So
I still disagree with Monty on Bank. I think it's still too open for him to be as viable as people think it is. I think he'd give him too much credit. Okay, I guess we really just don't like shields then. Chaotic getting rid of Blitz. Okay, I mean, I can't blame them, because we did see some absolute tomfoolery with the Blitz. We saw that with Adept Club versus, I believe it was Ex Mortis. We saw a bit of that, and Adept Club brought it back and was able to do the same thing. Well, not as successfully, I don't believe. I think they also faltered in it as well. But we did see a decent amount of Blitz presence. Not there anymore. A semi-shield op, Mira. We got another shield op? Screw it. Let's get rid of, what's her name? Freaking, Clash. Let's get rid of Clash. But nope, it'll be Cade instead. Good lord. Three shield ops. We really don't like shields this time around, huh?
I mean, okay, I for one think it's pretty valid to really like bank. Yes, it's pretty open. Yes, you can get shot in the back, but the bank basement is notorious. And if you have a shield operator in the bank basement, and it is the bank basement to start with. So this one round with a shield operator,
Defenders,
with
protect
a
your
good
bombs from
capable
being
team,
defused by
could be a
attackers.
big problem, and I don't mind it, and I don't mind the Kaid ban also. It's a very, very solid ban on, especially again, these hatches become such a pain to just mind, because unlike any other Mac, the bank basement is so
Bomb
spread out.
located
It has
by
two different
attackers.
sections, and most times if you're minding one part, you may not be savvy to what is going on in the other. And yeah, at the same time, you have roamers roaming around the whole outer courtyard, and there's so much information to be had, and I feel Kaid has that ability to really
10
stop that
seconds to go.
vertical pressure from coming in, because there's not much to be had in the first place.
5 seconds left before.
Yeah, the vertical could definitely be limited, as it's more focused on holding those
Attackers are
hatches
heading out
for
to
the
defuse a
horizontal
bomb.
to come in from like garage or the bottom of blue stairs. But I still I can't get behind it. It's just, I don't like, you've got Chanka, you've got Smoke, you've got Legion, all gonna be funneled towards server side with that one intent of stopping that flank. And I think that could be easily extrapolated to include shields as well. I don't think it's worth a 3-way shield ban. That's still crazy to me. But we're already seeing a very fast entry from Chaotic, already establishing top square control with very minimal resistance so far. Getting eyes on Fenrir, they know there was one on the lurk, but Dustin's already back up sight. Win will be able to take the first pick of this matchup, being able to catch up. Nut2 now off the board very early on. That's one less Jackal scan that is on the board. They still have Steg on the Deimos, which it looks like he's already using that to try to find Legion, but so far, starting off very heavily close to sight, it seems like there's not going to be a lot to capitalize on this utility that Chaotic is investing. Deimos and Jackals are really not getting the impact that I think this team is really looking for so far. Although they got a bit of damage onto Win, he's still standing. And with it being 1 minute 40 seconds, they really need to put in double time to clear this operator out. Otherwise, it really was all or not. But now 130 still on a board. I would say at this point, not. So another scan comes in, trying to flush out Legion. They do finally succeed, Steg catching win, but I would argue kind of behind on the curve with the minimal setup. However, since he can catch Atuka and then Munchie with the key as well, this is not looking like a good attack for Chaotic, as Adam Club will be able to push back and get a lot of success out of it in turn. You're going to see John get hit with that Legion Mine, getting slowed down even further. Not going to be enough to down, though, although being up all the way up to 18 HP, not a lot to capitalize it. But the siege timing kicks in. We're starting to see Duskin walk back up, but Steg will be able to catch Damien, but Duskin still holding close. And somehow they managed to drop down and secure a plant. But we're seeing
Attackers activated.
come in and they try to collapse from two different fronts. And John! Poor John just gets three-way crapped on. Ouch.
Defenders have disabled the bomb
was a
diffuser.
very fast
Defenders win.
Yeah, they did not expect that. I think they did not expect it that fast. And they really got like completely caught with the pants down. I feel there was a potential win here for Chaotic. Like they had gotten a good enough position, but maybe kind of delayed pulling the trigger a bit, and that really caused them. So yeah, I mean the earlier pickoffs, Demos, I like that the Demos was getting the kind of exposure it is getting, and they kind of made it work, but in
Attackers
the end
need
it
to
was
locate
more of
and
a
defuse as
timing
many
thing than
bombs as
anything.
they can.
And the most elusive place to just enter, I feel that admin hatch just seems to be that it's chaotic. Every time you try to enter the admin hatch, you never are really prepared for what's on the other side. You're gonna get shot, someone's gonna die.
Yeah, and I think one of the big factors here that kind of put into play for Adam Club to be able to win that out was, and I guess I have to bite my tongue here, Chaotic didn't really have the setup to really push site directly as they wanted. Invested in the Deimos, you
10 seconds to
invested
go.
in the Jackal, but it just had such little impact.
5 seconds
right?
left before
And that's kind
insertion.
of where this gets really ugly. You have two operators dedicated
Attackers moving out to locate a
clearing
bomb and
these
defuse it.
players out and finding them, which should make roam clear very easy, very efficient, very time advantage. But the fact that they were under 130 before they even could get started on vertical, that's disastrous. That is a massive failure on your roam
Absolutely.
clearers. And we are already seeing a little bit of spawn peeking from Munchie, but instead, little old Mozzie, emphasis on the little, is gonna get just absolutely slammed out there, taking 105 damage, now down to 5 HP, and the round's just about started. But to kind of finish the idea, you gotta have better roam clear efficiency when you're investing that many offers toward that task. So I mean, it's just honestly a critical failure for Chaotic when it came to that roam denial, and I think that kind of speaks to a lot of
Located.
how good Adept Club's roam is and being able to hunker down against Chaotic's attempted clear, which I think is going to be emblematic of a big problem trying to push out a second floor.
I like the Zero, especially I feel Bank really, it showcases Zero the way Zero is supposed to be showcased. Speaking of Zero, just dies. At the same time though, Win does get a return, get a 4 versus 1 just like that. Adapt Club really just pushing back. They do not take survivors here. Every single time they get one pick, they will get 2 more. And
Oh my gosh, almost got siege timing so hard there. But does manage to pick that up. But again, this is kind of what we were talking about. Adept Club's ability to just hunker down and hold the fort has been so strong. And we have seen that from the previous matchups of Adept Club. And they are just showing that prowess and that capability right now. I mean, the pushback being just absolutely devastated. A very well coordinated pushback from Stock to effectively wipe out all but one John, but with such little setup and on a site like this with minimal information on the table, both of his drones down, meaning pretty much no intel, it's gonna be a tough ask, and with the Nitro, that's gonna unfortunately seal his fate.
a very, very fast end to what seemed like a promising ambush attempt from Chaotic, but did not necessarily pan out that way. And now Adept, They've picked up Cav, Maestro, and what's Duskin? What's he up to? Oh, it's a
Not
Fenrir and a
again.
Warden. Okay. We know where
Not
this is going.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of scary. We saw the Cav last time, and they ended up getting an interrogation.
Attackers need
and
to
now
locate and defuse as
we
many
have
bombs as they can.
Another Cav. What is with you guys and running Cav? This is ridiculous. The fact that it is shown up in 2 different games is honestly wild. And I cannot fathom that. But I guess it's just a testament to how Adam Club is really feeling themselves right now. And to those who would argue such, rightfully so, potentially, considering how well they've won out these first 2 rounds. And if they could potentially catch a straggler, that could
10
be
seconds left.
a big sign of trouble. Because keep in mind, Adam Club is very
5 seconds to go.
good at their counter offensives on the defense. And when you
Attackers
got
are
an
heading out
operator
to
like
defuse a bomb.
Cav, you catch a straggler, and you have a nutty counter defense. I mean, basically wall hack. Yeah, that can't be good.
Yeah, and they're not hasty with it. They're very patient with it. See, every single operator is made to hunker down except that Warden and a Cav. And they're so aggressive that hunkering down seems to be like the exact antithesis to what they seem to be doing. Like usually your roamers are something that are in tandem with your hunkering down people. But this is just 2 different separate units that are going to play differently on this map and hope for the best. And this is a complete troll build, I feel. I don't understand what they're angling for, and maybe just a good bit of fun. They're against a Brava, and okay, the Goyo gets sniped. Fine. A kind of a nice card for
Attacker's bomb
chaotic.
diffuser
But
has been
again,
dropped.
it's with these trades. There's nothing that you get for free when it comes to a Adept Club. Every single time the Adept, he has been downed, he has been killed. So you have finally... Okay, the Cav has been taken
Attackers
out.
have recovered
This
their
really
diffuser.
changes the game right now. 2 versus 4, Adept Club kind of got down. The Maestro and the no support. Just holding.
Yeah, this is a disastrous turn of events. I guess they overstayed the welcome, got way too cocky there. They were feeling themselves, but Chaotic is not really free for the taking, as Adam Club is starting to find out here. The Dipkebi call coming out. It's now starting to slow down. 1 minute and 20 seconds, and we're seeing the damage from the roam. They lose their hard breach. They have no way to hard breach any longer now that John is down. But in turn, they got a lot of bloodshed out of it, getting 3 of them down, which is a pretty big loss for Adam Club. And now they're gonna have to try to find a way to salvage the situation. There's one in archives, gonna be able to pick him up. That's gonna be a Tuca to take Damien, and another for a 2K, lining him up and knocking him down.
I don't know what to say about this. Like, I have no idea. This... Okay, Adept Club deserves this loss. And I feel they should really not consider this a cakewalk just yet. Yeah, they could do something like, maybe like 5 rounds in, 6 rounds in maybe. But this is too early to play these games right now. You have to suss out how the other team plays, kind of get a good
Attackers need to
judgment call
locate and
about
defuse
how
as many
they really
bombs as they
function.
can.
Unless you know that, you can't just run Cav and Warden like this. You can't take that risky play. Through too many rounds probably.
I mean, to be fair, if Chaotic lost a round in that kind of fashion, I mean, that just kind of shows that Adam Club has all the space in the world to be as stupid as they want with their compositions. But now they know it's not as clear and easy as they are thinking that it originally is. But I mean, at the end of the day, even with a legitimate composition, they still haven't really lost a
5
round
seconds
in
remaining.
that regard. They've only lost one, running some questionable
Attackers
compositions
must
and
locate
playing
the bomb.
very sketchy. But now, fun times are over as far as that goes. It's now time to lock it in a little bit, and we'll see if Chaotic will be able to put the pedal to the metal to take a little bit of momentum in how they're feeling confidence-wise and try to close out the club for another round. They aren't able to shoot out that Twitch drone. That definitely helps. You know, we did see some Goyos get taken out thanks to Heat. A lot of intel getting taken out, and an early pick from Munchie to get rid of Heat. It's already an early round pick. Not even a minute into the round. Twitch not gonna be able to get any impact. Her drone's getting shot out, getting taken out in turn. It's looking like a little rough start for Chaotic here.
Indeed, and I think that early pickoff again, the Twitch just goes down. The droning has failed. They've gotten some information. It's not a complete waste of time. Droning is always a good policy. Kids never not drone, but at the same time, it's not yielding them. Okay, this could be very, very close. It's not as close as they thought it would be, but yeah, okay. The Demos has to target something. There has to be some opening that he's looking for, but this is not the opening they were looking for. Chaotic lose one person. It's going to be Duskin picking up one thing, and 5 versus 3 that really puts them in a bad position. Finally, there's a mount. Goyo has took the target, but Duskin, he is on the hunt yet again. This Demos, before he gets any advantage on this map, Duskin is going to clean it up. There's not going to be anyone remaining on your team to capitalize on your pickoffs. So what are you going to do? It is extremely, extremely difficult. And the pancakes are going down. There is no entry point really, and you're going to open up some angle, and it's just going to be a flawless round. Simply, what a game!
What a collapse! I mean, this is kind of where the problem starts. Adam Club, they love their extended roams. Time and time again, we have seen that. And they have just been continually expanding on it, encroaching on Chaotic space even further, and they don't really have an answer for it. I mean, we didn't see any vertical going out outside of top square onto blue, which isn't really much when you don't even have archives control. It's just, this is looking
Defenders,
really
protect
like
your bombs
a
from
rough
being defused by
start
attackers.
or Chaotic, as they can't even get the foot into it. That's really what it comes down to. They have tried to invest heavily in roam clear. They failed on that. And now they are just running standard ops, and they are getting hurt by it. This roam is a major problem for Chaotic. They don't have an answer for Adam Club right now. If they can't find a way to stop Adam Club from getting away scot-free and putting these damages out like we're seeing, this could be a very
5 seconds to go.
first half for them. And a sweep for Adam Club.
Attackers' objective is
this
to
is
defuse
not
the bomb.
a
Attackers have
map
dropped
where
the
you
bomb
want to be
diffuser.
2
Attackers
rounds
have
down
defused their diffuser.
on the attack. Quite the opposite. 2 rounds up on the attack. Would be more what you would expect.
Chaotic really needs to get their heads into the game right now. They picked a Grim. I don't know, it seems like a waste on bank. Unless you're playing basement or something, a Grim is a complete waste, I feel. And they get a pick off. This is how it starts. They get Damien. So now I feel like this is somewhat good. But as long as I'm always scared of Duskin. This guy is always up to some shenanigans. He is in places where you least expect him. And with operators, as I said, Grim, Ibana, you have a Fin card, it's a very aggressive lineup. You want to go in, kind of cordon off areas, take control of the map. But Duskin just knows where you are. He just always knows 2 moves ahead what you're supposedly doing. And a defense round, which is 4v5, is not a lost round yet. And just like that, Duskin, he opens it up. This Grim is going to be the first casualty for Chaotic. The second one being Steeg, and now it just has flipped. 4 versus 3. Attackers, I don't like the look of this. It's going to be 1 Hibana, 1 Iana. One's going to be droning, one's going to be just throwing a couple of breach charges, and Finka is going to be cheering everyone on. But how much is that useful? You make your way towards the second floor hallway. Maybe you get some opening here. This garage ramp. Okay, Pierce, just tell me, is this going anywhere? Because it seems like they're just running around waiting for the moment.
So far, not really. It's just a matter of who exposes themselves and who overextends. Right now, it's looking like both of these teams are heavily overextending towards the lobby side, but I really don't think there's any real progress being made. We're down to 52 seconds, and Chaotic they can't get a foothold. That's really what it comes down to, is a lack of foothold in lieu of them constantly being off their, I hate to be brash here, but constantly being up their ass and not really even finding a way out. However, they do find quite a crucial pick, being able to take Nutsy out, or Zetsi, I'm sorry. It's now a 1v2. This is a big opportunity for them to try to get a plant down, but they have intel and eyes on Chaotic. Dang near perfect information. Plant
50
starting to go
seconds
down,
left.
and have to get ready. Push, counter, but Key with a very clean shot towards the desk is having none of it from CEO, giving them their first round win outside of the troll.
This this went 2 ways and 3 ways, and now the 4th way. I don't know what was going on. Most of the times it looked like Adept Club had like the upper hand, especially when they got the 4 versus 3. I'm really sorry. The scenario in which they were 4 versus 3, that advantage just instantly left when that warden went down. And I don't know now. This is the last round seemingly on the defense side for Adept.
Defenders,
They have
protect
to
your
get
bombs
this.
from being defused by attackers.
Oh yeah, if they want to come out even, this is pretty much the only chance. But interestingly enough, I've kind of spotted a little bit of glimmer of hope for Chaotic. And here's what it is. The roam might be slamming Chaotic, but once that roam goes out, they start to fold hard. I mean, when you look at how Adept Club's positioning was when it came down to getting on site, Chaotic just waltzed right in, and Adept Club had no real site presence at all. And this displacement just allowed Chaotic to
5
walk
seconds
right in
left.
with seemingly no consequences. So I think if they want to even this
Attackers
out,
must locate and
that's all they
defuse the
really
bomb.
need to do. They just gotta get past Adept Club's very roundabout roam. And if they can do that, then they might be able to turn this into an even 3-3 split, which is much more doable. Although some could argue it's
Attackers have located a
disadvantageous
bomb.
when you consider attack or attack defender deltas. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really go wrong with a 3-3 split, especially in a competitive setting. You could go a lot worse than that. But if Chaotic wants that, they have to get through this roam. If they can't do that, they will be at a considerable disadvantage here. There's quite a puzzle to unpack against Adam.
Oh yes, it is. And I'm not gonna be hasty. Chaotic. It's in the name. It's chaotic. It was the unpredictability of it that really took them apart. And yet again, they've lost Duskin now. Not a great way to start on the match, but again, just getting the place back. Atoka gets a double. It's a 3 versus 4. You have an entry into the place. Everyone's making the way to 2F, but you get shot in the face. Teague goes down, and now 3 versus 3. It's double kills both ways. Damien, he is looking for more, but now Windy, he just gets shot. People are trading back and forth, and it's not in one go. And soon enough, it'll be down to 2 versus 2, and maybe 1 versus 1. And we may see a repeat of last round here.
Potentially, this is huge for both sides. Chaotic has disassembled a lot of the roamers that are lurking around second floor. But at the same time, Attic Club has still managed to keep them out of the building. They still have no building presence. As long as they play together here, honestly, Attic Club can still hold this out if they prevent them from really getting any serious building presence. You've gotten out to top square. That's about it. But at the same time, if Chaotic is able to push through even one of them, this defense will fold, and this is their round. How Chaotic responds to getting present
Drop the bomb.
will be everything, and
Attackers
it's not
will
looking
cover the
too
bomb
good.
diffuser.
Damien from CEO, gonna be able to catch John, tries to go for a vault, he misses, and we see the 3K! Oh, what an ace from Damien! Completely shutting out top square! That ain't happening, folks! No way, they say.
God damn it! What? He just single-handedly took it. He's on fire right now, quite literally. His scoreboard just shows the fire icon, and it's understandably so. Just won the round for Adept. They did their best to throw it. Throw it. I mean, really, I'm at a loss for words. That was some round, and I think more than anything, it was chaotic just running into the crosshairs too. Almost like they were
Attackers
too,
need to
they
locate
were
and
being too
defuse
hasty
as many
themselves.
bombs as they can.
And now they are on the defense. They kind of have to get rid of that hastiness, slow it down a bit. They're in a different role. They have to play a different way, and they have to slow the whole
Attackers
pace
have
down of the
discovered the
game.
location of a
Adept,
bomb.
they can keep the pace. They're playing as aggressive. They played aggressive on the defense. They can play aggressive on the offense. I don't know if Chaotic can do the same and still probably prevail. It's going to be a bit difficult for them unless they change it up a bit. Maybe catch a Adept Club off guard. Possibly. They're going for a Dokebi and an Osa.
10 seconds to
There's
insertion.
definitely going to need to be some change, big change from Chaotic.
5 seconds
That's
left.
a huge setback, and I cannot express that
Attackers'
enough. They
objective is to
needed
defuse a bomb.
that round there, and they just couldn't push through CEO. All they needed was one down, but they all just threw the top square, and I don't understand why
Let's see
though.
who's nearby.
Adam Club was already strained with resources. They only had 2 players remaining, but it didn't matter. However, we see Atuka given the same treatment as Adam Club did, going very aggressive, but still, he had one holding back, and that was Munchie. He was able to take that refrag, so 1 for 1, you know. What can you ask for? What better can you ask for both sides? Neutralize. You're gonna see Nut 2 try to contest bottom square, get a bit of damage, rotate out. That is gonna be some more control for Adam Club.
Sell 'em out!
They're not done yet. Now getting that kitchen control. We're seeing Adam Club trying to push deep to limit Chaotic's options for maneuverability here. And so far, it looks like they've generally succeeded. We got Nut 2 pushed all the way back towards towards archives and the bottom floor, and then you've got John on elevators, and the rest are on site. Adam Club pretty much got them all encircled here, which is a big opportunity if they can take this and leverage that opportunity. But Nut 2 does manage to get out. They'll be able to rotate back onto site. That's one more player that Adam Club will have to worry about as they close around the site. Do see that Duskin does manage to maintain the bottom of white stairs. It's gonna allow them to potentially start to wrap around and pinch out. You've got a lot of players towards Chaotic, towards the back of sight. Nitro still in hand. It'll be from John. It's just a matter of who takes the entry and the speed and momentum, and that'll be key to take win here. Give him some much needed space. John with the Nitro to take out Duskin. Key for a double kill on Damien. It's all falling apart for Adam Club, as they just could not make the push that they needed. Now up to Munchie. 1 minute remaining, plenty of time. Looking for an opening here. Walks right into Stag, and Stag walks right up to him in turn. Oh, a 2K!
Okay.
Being able to secure the pick. Oh, but he misses E all the way banana hole. It's like Chaotic, not out of the fight quite yet.
Not quite yet. And kind of a misplay by Adept Club, I have to say. Some things just didn't go right. And I mean, okay, to start with, I understand that it was a 1-for-1 trade, but losing a Zofia, I feel that hurts a bit more. You are already
It
down
does.
1 breacher. You have an ace, which is, at this point of time, I relegate ace into like a pseudo breacher. He may have a breach charge apart from the usual breaching tools that he has, but I feel ace is just not enough the
Attackers
way
need to locate
Zofia
and
is.
defuse
Zofia is just
bomb.
so strong. Losing Zofia, I feel that was a huge setback in what their original plan was, how to attack. They had that pincer entry kind of thing, and they were hoping for it, but it didn't work because they have only 1 breacher. What is the other side going to do? Only one side is going to breach. The other side is going to wait for some planks to go down and hopefully get a pick off before entering, but it's just one after the other. Some things go wrong. And Adept Club,
Bomb located
they're
by
just
attackers.
switching it up. They're going for an Amaru. Okay. And okay, well, Bank
10
Amaru,
seconds to go.
especially on a plant upstairs, it could very well give them
5
the
seconds
control they
left.
require. This could be that unexpected play, that chaotic, well, not expected. and
Attackers'
will
objective is to defuse the
probably
bomb.
pay for if it goes their way, or it could go horribly. Duskin could die first, and that just puts any kind of information and flow control to a complete nil. the retreat of last round. So again, a very 50-50 kind of round. I don't understand what's this obsession with this kind of play. But hey, that's what we're playing, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very gutsy approach from Adam Club, which can only go in one direction. That's disaster. Now, who will be the brunt of said disaster? I have no idea. But Amaru, when that repel goes in, it gets ugly. And look at that, Duskin already clearing out so much damage. Oh my gosh, goes for the hat drop, has eyes on Stag, able to get the immediate pick there. The Lions skin going off. This is going to slow down the momentum, as we'll see yet another. That's going to take a second. Oh no, he's not going for another hat drop. I hope not. Go, never cleared out from Printer, still holding that position. Could possibly shut it out, but I think Duskin is now long and gone. Oh, but they do have eyes on the zombie. That was that player holding out from. Oh, but does manage to catch one, but not before the pistol whip from the hat drop. And now Adam Cole looking to move it up even further. And to get full side control here. Oh, that could have been huge, but it wasn't, as the refrag comes out from Munchie and Setsi to finish the job out from Garage. A very fast-paced attack, spearheaded by Amaru, and giving Adept one round closer to their qualifier win.
That almost went to complete crap. Okay, them stacking up, kind of, that revive could have possibly killed all three of them. Didn't hit the shots, but yeah, that was too close. But oh my god, this Amaru, that 50-50 play, well, sometimes it's heads, sometimes it's tails, and this time it was heads for the side of Adept Club.
Attackers need to locate
that
and
was
defuse bombs.
really fast and really hard hitting, and it just worked. Opened up the site instantly. The hatch control was there. Every single operator was right in place to capitalize on it. And lo and behold, quad erat demonstratum QED. That's how you win a game.
That has got to be a record for one of the fastest top downs I've ever seen. And I mean, the success of that was unbelievable. Being able to go through those floors, I mean, it was literally
10
just
seconds to
boom,
insertion.
boom, boom. Repel in. Third floor, clear. Second
5
floor,
seconds left
cleared
before
out.
insertion.
Then basement, now cleared out as well. I mean, all within the
Attackers'
span
objective
of
is to
really
locate
like
a bomb and
minute.
defuse it.
That kind of pace setting from Adept Club is horrifying. I mean, absolutely dangerous. And it kind of goes against anything chaotic you can really throw at them. Their composition mostly comprises of slowing things down. I mean, you've got the Fenrir from John, you've got the smoke from Key, but, and I mean, you gotta stay with the Legion, but that doesn't matter when they're in your throat in unexpected ways that quickly. It really doesn't matter.
It was too fast for even, I think, Chaotic to process. And they were just looking for kills at that point because they knew all the tactics just got blown up. They had nothing, no counterplay, nothing available. They had just been like, the core had been punctured. Every single other place, it was completely rudderless. And the ship was sinking. And they had to throw a couple overboard, possibly get this apart. But okay, a good start. The Demos goes down first. That's a very, very big trip-off. And I like it for him. And it's the same goes with Duskin. Risky plays have been punished. Chaotic, 3 versus 5. It is a very, very strong position they find themselves in. Will they be able to
Bomb
capitalize on
located
it?
by
There's still a
attackers.
KB. There's still a Lion. There's a possibility that they just rush in and probably catch some people hands down. Both of them have detectors on them. Remember, this is something that we rarely see. Usually these are the two operators who are first. But this time, they use their gadgets well. They could rack up 1, 2, maybe even 3 kills.
No, there's definitely a lot of potential here to turn this around if they leverage their utility successfully. We see just that, the Lion scan hold the nut tube right in place for an easy cleanup kill. But they still have two over by Kitchen and Meeting that they need to clear out. And so far, they're continuing to cause trouble as Stag will be able to pick up a double, getting rid of Zetsi. Now 2v4, minute remaining. These top players are still persisting as a problem. And now here comes the pin, trying to get rid of Atuka. But so far, they're not going to be able to catch her out. She does manage to get away here and looking to come back for even more trouble. And there's still Stag all the way in tellers. I mean, it's just a full wraparound. They're completely surrounded.
Oh, he got a
33
phone,
seconds
though.
to go, and there's so much work to do. But here comes the hack from the Kebby. That might be able to give a little bit of information to determine where the last of these stragglers are. Oh no, but here's the Legion Goo mine. Stag knows is one close. Atuka gonna clean it up. And now Damien just stuck in a
15
corner.
seconds remaining.
Doesn't really have a lot of places to go. And the swing to clear out as she's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Chaotic's coming and it's bringing out the fight.
Again, a bit too close for comfort. I mean, there was that potential with that Lion and the Dokebi, but Lion just got outpeaked and it just didn't turn out to be what it could have been. But at the same time, to start with losing those two operators, I'm pretty sure that punishing Duskin for that very aggressive play on the Ashe, that is how you open this up. And I like that there is a timeout here. I like that they're gathering the marbles. They're kind of getting themselves on track. See, this is what I expected to happen last game with what was that team? How am I forgetting this right now? But yeah, the team that lost, they should have had this timeout. And this timeout is, I don't understand. This could have been so much better. And Vicious, that timeout that they didn't use, Adept are using, this could kind of get them out of this ditch that they're digging themselves in. It's dead even, 5 for 4. It's anybody's game right now, and you could win. You're one match away from a match point. Adept Club, they have one more round on attack. They can probably bring this home, have an easy win on the last defense. It could be multiple possibilities. It's a 2F plant. The operators are favorable.
Attackers need to locate and
well bring
defuse as many bombs as they can.
Chaotic. They have proved themselves to be quite capable of capitalizing on the chaos. And this time, they've really gone deep with it. A castle, a Frost, a castle, a Valk, and a bandit. Surprisingly timid. However, I'm pretty sure they're not playing those operators the way they're meant to be played. I'm pretty sure there's some quantities, risky plays. And Duskin probably getting another 50-50 here. What do you think?
Knowing these games at this point, I wouldn't doubt that. In fact, I would probably come to expect
Attacker's
it.
objective is to locate a bomb.
This is just kind of how these teams like to play. Being a little gutsy. And we're already potentially seeing... Never mind. I thought Atuka was going to go for that printer peek. I was going to say, woo, what a start. But so far, actually, no one getting spotted out quite yet. And there's been plenty of time to move around. So I don't think either of these teams are really going to be peeking too much here, to be 100% honest. But I think Adept Club has a big problem on their hands. And that's kind of the fact that they really don't have a strong ability to flush, right? Where Chaotic, once the smoke had cleared from the drone, they were able to isolate pretty dang well. But Adept Club just can't seem to really, get a grip on making space. It's kind of been where they're having problems. It looks like they're trying to go for a very aggressive push. Smoke Candela and Smoke going out. Damien to catch Nutsu. Looks like they're trying to shut out Chaotic before they even have a chance to build momentum. That's going to be key and noted down. Stag as well. Very aggressive plays for the Repel. Amtot Square. Rapid fire establishing much needed space. Dustin now in prime position to go for a plant. Wynn's going to be able to take John though. And now it's up to Tuka. Try to make her way back from below. They have eyes on her. They drop the hatch. And Wynn will be the one to take Atuka. Not even giving Chaotic a chance to really even put out a fight in the defense.
Watch out! That was an RKO. I like RKOs like that. And it was always a pleasure to watch people jumping down the hatch in this game. The animation for jump, they never designed it. So people just fall like they're dead inside. And that fall, especially when you kill someone, it just becomes so much more satisfying. God, what an entry from Adept Club. And they just barged in. They knew it was now or never. They waited long enough. They pulled the trigger
Defenders,
exactly at
protect
the
your
same
bombs
time.
from being
Executed
defused by
so
attackers.
well. Every single peak that they got, every single trade that they aimed for, they got. In fact, they didn't even trade. They just got the kills they intended. And just like that, they made their way into the side, instantly planted. And it just became this complete
Bomb located by attackers.
of the positions. Complete flip, and Adept Club are now in a very, very comfortable position of a match point. Just one more round away from winning, and they are pulling out their A game. Dokebi, Buck, Capital. I really like it. I don't like the Grim, as I said, but hey,
10 seconds to go.
I know what Dustin uses it for. I'm pretty sure it's not for the gadget. He's switching
5
it up for
seconds
Brava,
left.
as it looks like. But hey, that gun on Grim, pretty decent. So I'm not going to be surprised.
Attackers
if
are heading out to
goes
defuse a
with the
bomb.
Brava. So right now, this is going to.
I was gonna say that could be huge actually. Look at what Chaotic has brought to the table. They have key on the Maestro, and this is right next to the first floor site. If he can spot and take this Maestro, that could be a huge detriment. Oh, but look at the paranoia. He's waiting for the drum hole, looking to spot that. Oh my gosh, the run out! Oh no! Azuka going for the run out, but it was just a little too late. As we will see, oh, Zetsi manages to catch it, but barely at 11 HP. That is a devastating loss. Oh, but Natu manages to catch Munchied out in the open, out with the pants down. Does manage to take that. Brings back to a 3v3, but the pressure's not stopping from a Death Club as Dustin will be able to catch the beat. Tried to go for sight, but just gets shredded by John instead. Overstayed your welcome, didn't you, on the first floor, huh? Now back to the 2v2. Not even a minute into the round, and we've already seen 6 players taken out of the fight. Vertical now starting, not to looking to possibly try to contest this vertical. Still got one on the first floor. That's going to be Damien down by utility room. And that could be a massive problem. No hijacks. Utility still up on the board and available for Chaotic. Unfortunately for Duskin, that hack never coming to fruition. That's going to be helping with anchoring down on site. But Damien with a very powerful entry towards Archives manages to clear that space. It's now up to Nut2. Already took one. Beginning, spots the hatch drop, can't get any damage out, reveals his position, gonna have to try to get out, gets down, but he is not gonna be able to heal as Adept Club will be able to sweep it up in a stylish fashion. Momentum full steam ahead, and they will be the champions of this first qualifier series.
Wow. That was some goddamn game, I have to say. That was crazy. I didn't expect any of that to happen. The fact that they took out the initial players that went down, boiling it down to 2v2, and the pace of the game was already fast, but the hatch drop and the whiff from the dock, my God, that was the clutch moment. They had a chance. This could have been overtime, Piercing. This could have possibly been overtime. And that one whiff just seemed to cost them everything. Just like that, they're knocked out. And Adept are the champions of this qualifier. They move on.
Yep, there will be 2 more, but this is definitely a step in the right direction for Adept Club. This is going to give them a major lead as they will be earning 100 points from this final result. But, I mean, we got to talk about how this was just kind of a melting pot that was waiting to burst, right? We know that Adept Club has been struggling to catch players that were in these kind of isolated power positions. And you had a situation where it's an open site. It's just open rooms, open space, and there's really nowhere to run and hide for them. And with the very strong droning and intel that Adept Club had so early on, yeah, it was a matter of time before the clamp really began, along with some unfortunate trades that could have possibly went better for Chaotic, but just didn't, right? And going in neutral, which really is the bane for Chaotic. When they keep their numbers up, Adept Club generally has a really hard time finding space, but being able to force so many initial fights in their favor, causing a cascade where it's an even more open space as you've got less players to cover a bigger area, that's where Adept Club shined, and that's where they were able to close it out like they did. It was just that first floor was kind of the breaking point, unfortunately, for Chaotic. Though they did put up a hell of a fight, and even were having a bit of a comeback, unfortunately, it still proved too much as they just couldn't hold their defense on in such a spread out map like Bank. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the first round of qualifiers for EON League. And with that, Necris, do we got any final thoughts for the audience before we close it out today?
Always drone, ladies and gentlemen. Always drone. It's a nice thing to do. It's the best thing to do you can ever do. I feel Adept, they could have lost this game. Information was the way they won. And obviously, one more thing, which may be a bit controversial, and I may be super wrong about it, but 50-50s aren't always bad. You can depend on them. Go for it. Go for those trades that are completely stupid. Be that Amaru that jumps through a hatch and possibly kills two people or dies in the process, which is fine because you tried, and it's the way you play.
Sometimes you got to take risks. Absolutely. And with that, that'll be it for this first round of qualifiers. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And until then, for the next matchup, or the next round of qualifiers, we'll see you guys around. Take it easy and have a good night, everyone.